Cybernation Uncensored.
Oh no, everything's dark. There we go. Welcome back everyone to Cybernation Uncensored. I'm your GM for this evening, and these are my lovely players playing their Blade Runners. Again, as usual, this is an adult podcast with some adult themes in it, so you have been warned. But before we get into some problems that these players have faced, let's first get to know the people who are going to be playing our Blade Runners. Echo, you first, and who are you playing? And you are muted.
Oh, you're muted.
Echo. Sorry about that. My name's Echo. I'm playing Echo Jones, the original Nerf first name. My character is just started on the Force. We just finished our first case where we had a little bit of action. That was nice. And my character is learning a few things about the new Nexus 9 models and kind of shocked to see what just happened with the surgery scars and realizing he's about to get blown to smithereens. So we'll see what happens.
Shockman.
Hi guys, I'm Michael Shockman. I am playing Inspector George Stone, the RDU inspector on the LAPD's RDU division. Really, after last week's session with our little gourmand adventure, I have been very much looking forward to getting down to some nitty-gritty work and getting into our second case. And likewise, Stone is also very kind of taken aback and kind of freaking out about potentially having walking, talking human bombs running around. So, yeah, gonna be fun.
George Lee.
Hi, I'm George Lee. I play Officer EV1-9.3. Sorry, a lot of numbers. Or you can just call her EV. What is it? Inner cells, or what is it that they say?
You just failed your first baseline test.
Interlink. Yep. I failed my baseline test. No, so I play Evie. She is a freshly made replicant who's new on the Force. Last week we had a little bit of a potential issue of a conflict between what the RDU wants and what Wallace wants. So that's going to be fun to keep diving into. Oh yeah, and the walking, talking human bombs. Let's not forget about that.
And Lance? Sorry, Nolan?
Nolan North. Yeah, I'm Nolan. I am going to be playing Lance Rogers this evening. A very, very interesting fellow. Last episode was quite interesting for him. A little bit of a switch from what he would normally do. He's trying to get down to the bottom of something, and he knows that having contacts in the right places is always the best way to get information. But besides that, you can find me on Instagram as Nolan North, a couple other places here in the Discord as Nolan. I'm in a couple play-by posts in here, and I also have a casting call out for Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland. So if you're interested in a 80s to 90s like Gonzo acid vomit wasteland, throw some nuclear waste in there. Maybe if you've ever heard of the movie Toxic Avenger, get that vibe from it. It's really, really interesting based on BX. So if you're a fan of the old D&D and that kind of stuff, it might be something you might be interested. Officially, it was going to start in March, but now I'm going to push it back just a little bit because I haven't had the responses that I've wanted, just to make sure that everybody gets a chance to play. But again, it's out there. It's in our Discord. So hit us up if you want to join that.
Discord's in the chat. Start joining in. But for now, we go back to your investigation. And as Shockman has already alluded to, you had a nice little gourmet dinner before your next job, after your first one. And your next job is a lot more dire. No one has died yet, but there's now a hospital, LA General, that's under threat. LA General is known to be refusing to serve replicants. They turn them down at every corner, at every opportunity that they get. But now, 20 of their staff has been wheeled in to the ER with what looks like to all of you a little blinking red light on their chest as soon as the doctors cut open their shirts to check their vitals. There's 20 of them there, and you are stuck in this hospital with them. At any moment, any wrong thing can set those bombs off because you really don't know what kind of bombs they are. That is where we left the 4 of you off. So, at this point, in this hospital, which is still technically your first shift, you have these bombs here, or what you safely assume are bombs. One of the nurses goes up to Dr. Hastings, the director of this hospital, and looks, doctor? And she's holding, with shaking hands, completely terrified of the situation, a data disc. The data disc has a little strip of paper stuck to it that has his name on it, and it says, "Play me."
Well, shit. I guess it's fuck. Anybody have any what do you call them? Any media readers?
There's one in the staff room. Let's get all these patients on some anesthetics. They don't have to suffer this pain. But do not do anything to them. Other than knocking them out, do not touch them. No one is to perform surgery until we figure out what's going on. And then he looks to the 4 of you. Officers, if you'd like to watch this with me. His hands are shaking.
I'm kind of concerned with explosives. Is it hopefully the explosives, if they're going into with the did you say anesthesia or anesthetics?
Anesthetics.
Okay, because just blood rate moving, if that's a thing, if it, if like the bomb is tied to BPM, I don't want to.
Their blood rate would certainly go down if they're put under. So if you want to raise that concern.
I'd raise the concern with the doctor. It's like, no, we don't know the full situation of the ordeal here, but maybe putting them under or anything that could cause them any duress and change their heart rate, anything like that, that might be a fail-safe trigger in case if the push comes to shove and everybody had to kill these folks. Now, doctor, I recommend just like a simple painkiller, nothing like putting them out, man.
Fine, nurse. Get them some morphine, regular dose. Not enough to fully null, just something they can tolerate. Monitor their heart rates. Whatever they're at now, make sure they maintain it. The nurse nods, starts going in, but Dr. Hastings leads you guys to the break room, or the staff room, where anyone who's still there, he just tells to leave, and then locks the door behind so no one comes in. He plays it on a large screen, and on that screen, there's a man in front. For those of you who play Cyberpunk 2077, he kind of has that Mr. Hands lighting of the only thing that's shown is the bottom part of his body, and his entire face is obscured completely in the shadow. Like the camera's set to make sure that his face has no light on it. There's a deep voice that comes out from it that tells him, and this is, bear in mind, a recording, not live. Director Hastings. For years, your hospital has refused to serve any replicants, even those with the Nexus 9 variants, but your precious Wallace Corporation claims to be so free and new and safe. Today I propose a game. In your hospital at the moment, there are 20 individuals, the nastiest of your staff, those who have refused and even kicked down replicants, as they were already injured. Inside one of those staff members is a live explosive, enough to level this entire building and everyone inside. The other 19 have the same explosive in them, but they lack a blasting agent internally, which means the bombs are useless. There is no remote detonator. I'd like to keep my game fair. For every bomb that you remove successfully that isn't the live bomb, an hour will be removed from the timer of the life bomb, and at the moment you have 24 of those hours. For every bomb you remove successfully that isn't the real one, your time grows shorter. However, none of these bombs are tied to any kind of life or vital signs. And in fact, they are implemented and implanted into their chests like cybernetics. That is to say, it is tied to their nervous system and is powered solely by their bodies. In other words, if you simply choose to kill all 20 precious human lives, then the entire bomb threat is null and means nothing. What value does life hold to you, Doctor? Does it matter, replicant or human? Will you take the risk? And before you start looking into them, I will tell you, it would take your most skilled surgeon at least 3 hours to remove one bomb. Just one. You have 27 surgeons qualified for the operation hired in your hospital at the moment. I don't know how many are on site. But it will take 3 hours to remove one bomb, and you have 20. If you do very simple math, you only have so many wrong choices to make before you condemn everyone in this building to death. Or you can simply make the decision to end their lives. The choice is yours, and the game begins. The recording ends.
God damn it.
There is
That's how I wanted to
a reminder here. 4 floating 2s for advantages for anyone. 1 specific to Lance, and now, thanks to Miserable Junkie, 1 specific to Evie, because apparently Miserable Junkie feels bad about the last time Evie had to roll. There are no negatives yet, but that's where we're at. 4 for anyone, 1 for Evie, 1 for Lance. So, what is the plan after watching that recording?
Immediately, Lance, I'm thinking to myself, I would call every single surgeon, get them here to the hospital.
The doctor's
like
nodding
simple,
and just
straightforward
on his phone.
You know, that's my simplest approach, but I'm just throwing that out there. What do you guys think?
George kind of looks and says, "Well, first we need to try and figure out which ones are not do not contain the blasting powder and which one does. I think we should." And I look to the doctor and I'm like, "Doc, do you happen to have a ensuite chemical analysis area in this hospital?"
We do, but if the chemical analysis needs to be done internally, we uses some magnets. Would be dangerous for the bomb.
Well, I wasn't thinking we needed to put them through a machine. I was thinking more we could do a simple swab test of some kind. I'm sure you must have. I mean, blasting powder isn't that Would I know if blasting powder has like a sulfuric, like a trace chemical that can be traced by like
there's definitely a trace chemical that you can analyze for, but the problem is, according to the recording, the blasting powder is internal to the bomb, so you'd have to open them up and then open the bomb and test them individually.
Okay, I gotcha.
Does the RDU have like
bomb
bomb
squad?
sniffing replicant dogs? Clone dogs? I know dogs don't actually exist anymore, but
Yeah,
But
there
you-
would
you
be,
would,
I believe they're referred to as anemoids, and yes, you would have, the LAPD has anemoids that could sniff out bombs, but there may be an issue with the fact that it's built into their bodies. It may not be 100% accurate, but it is something better than nothing. Although it
And if
will
I'm-
cost a
and if I'm
promotion point to
also-
call one in.
And if I'm understanding this correctly, the bombs are actually completely replicated except for that minor plastic component.
Yes, it's not even the
They have
explosive itself.
explosives.
It's the blasting cap, the thing that triggers the explosive. But the explosive itself, which the dogs are trained to sniff, is in the bomb. They just don't have the agent necessary to trigger the explosion.
Yeah, ignite it. So there goes my plan of like individually looking at the incision areas to see if there's any difference between any of them, and then also since you said that they were installed like cyberware, I'm assuming that whoever installed this was pretty skilled.
Absolutely.
But it sounds like if we cut it open and it was a dud, we would have no problem. It sounds like he made this so that it's just the option, the idea of opening it up is how we're going to, the act of it is the challenge. Once we get in there, it seems to be removable. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but it sounds like he didn't make that a big leaping point.
It's very removable. His estimate is that the best surgeons in the hospital will take 3 hours to remove one. But nothing was said about opening up the person and then opening up the bomb instead of removing it. Which you would need not a surgeon, but a bomb squad.
Yeah.
The hurdle you have there is you're going to be in an operating room with a live person, and you have a surgeon and a bomb squad looking into his insides. Might not be the best mix.
You know.
Harm none whenever possible.
What a conundrum.
Are any of them?
Oh my god.
Are all of them? Are any of them replicants of any kind, or are they all human?
They're all the human staff that, according to the man, are the worst examples. Basically, these are the ones that are... when the replicants are kicked out, they enjoy throwing them out, they enjoy beating them when they're down. So these are the worst examples.
Stone will kind of look to the doctor and say, "Doctor, do you happen to have a what's your generator like here?"
They can power the entire building for a week before it runs out.
So it's a pretty high currency type thing, right?
Yes.
Okay. I got an idea, but it's not going to be pretty, and I'm not even sure that we could pull it off with what we've got. We get all the people down to where the generator is. We get them down there, and then we overload the generator, not so it blows up, but so that it causes a localized EMP. Fries the detonator switch inside of each one, then they can all be removed safely. The problem is, as they've said, there are lots of other people here at this hospital that are in critical condition, so we'd almost be guaranteed to sacrifice them unless we could somehow get more like immediate help from other hospitals.
We've already called for help from the other hospitals who received the threat, but like I said before, there are patients here that won't survive a transfer. He's looking out the windows, checking, And he's trying to make sure there's not a single staff member who heard that. Because out of just sheer fear, they might actually just kill those 20 people. Because remember, that was the other thing he said. It's not tied to them living or dying. And if they die, nothing's powering the bomb.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so can we kill them and then bring them back?
Would that restart the bomb? Oh no.
I don't know, but my thought process is if we can keep, I guess it would take 3 hours. They would have to be down for 3 hours. I don't think we can kill somebody for 3 hours and bring them back.
There's an update. Kitsune Usagi has given the next person to roll a disadvantage. And Bookish Wyvern has given another general +2. So we have 5 of those. 1 for Evie, 1 for Lance, and whoever's going to make the next roll must do so at disadvantage.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you, Kitsune.
Yeah, thank you. May I have another?
What is the choice now?
Oh man. Is cryostasis a thing in the time period that we're in?
That's what I was wondering.
It is. Not entirely certain what it does to electronics. Usually the cryostasis is reserved for people who have minimal to no cybernetic implants. The doctor is just looking around. I'm going to put the patients on anesthetics and relieve their suffering. Let me know officers, what you want to do about this.
Well, I'm going to say to us four, the clock's ticking. Chances are, if we open up one of these guys, it's going to be a dud. I don't know about everybody else, but I would like to get a look at that bomb, and I'd like to get a look at the trigger mechanism and everything, what a dud looks like. If it's the real one, I think we should get the surgeons working on one of these guys, at least now.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get a volunteer from the group.
You want to go for it?
Even if it's just to look at it. Even if, and then tell them we want to look at it even before they remove it, and then tell us when they remove it. But I would want to get 2 notifications.
That the call you want to make?
And every time we remove,
and I'm gonna.
Every bomb that's
I'll use my
removed,
camera.
an hour gets removed from the timer. So if you spend 3 hours on one bomb, and then it's a fake, you've basically lost 4 hours on the actual bomb.
So how many can we disable at a time? Do we have a number yet?
You can disable. There are 20 plus surgeons that are being called here who will arrive in about 20 minutes. So you can have them all work at the same time, but there's no guarantee they'll all finish it at the same time. You might run the bomb through because they're all working on it at the same time.
Can we just does it? I think just one, guys. I think the solution is going to be outside of playing that game.
I agree, and I think that it's shitty, but I think we need to find which one has the real bomb in it, and put them into get them somewhere innocuous, and then just take the hit, because it's better to lose one life than it is to lose all of them, plus everyone
Let's hope
else.
it doesn't come to that, but we can make that decision in 20 hours. As long as we're only, I just want to open up one of these guys, and then we have 20 hours to decide the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
But we got to find that. So
yeah.
And sorry, just to double check. So it's not on like, no one has like a button to activate this.
No.
It's on a timer strictly.
Yep. That was what the guy said. There's no remote detonator.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, whether you trust them or not, at this point you don't really have enough information until you open one up. Okay. So Dr. Hastings comes back in the room. looking to the four of you of what your orders are. You are the Blade Runners.
Well, we're gonna have to open up one of them. No, but before we open up one of them, let's get some questioning done on them. I know you just gave them some anesthetics. Let's see, maybe that'll open up their mouths a little bit, and we can get some answers from them. Otherwise, it might be a little.
You'll have to hurry, officer, before they completely fall under it. They'll be in a small coma.
Fair enough. Let's hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Okay. So.
And then I guess just to confirm with the team, right? We want to open up one of them. How do we go about questioning them? Because we want to form some kind of like questionnaire that we can like figure out real quick.
I think getting as much information on who exactly did this to them. So if they remember anything from getting the bomb implanted in them, if they remember being taken, if they remember seeing anyone before they were taken, anything that unusual. brings it back to who exactly did this.
Do they have any suspicions? Mm-hmm. Is somebody here that should be here that is missing from the like? Is there a dog that's not barking in the sense of and is there somebody here that if they were going to do it to someone horrible, is everyone accounted for?
Okay,
that's a good one.
Do we know? I forget. Do we know if there was like a secret replicant who was hired and then fired here?
No.
Okay.
There's no record on the staff. Not to Dr. Hastings' knowledge. There's no record on the staff of a secret replicant.
Okay.
Although they have, like any other company, released people, but none of them on their files were replicant.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you remember, you guys still have all 4 of your shifts. This is the first one. If you want to divide and conquer in any manner, now's the time to do that. So right now your one plan is to start questioning them before surgery happens, because the surgeons will take relatively a shift to arrive and complete surgery. So within this first shift, however many surgeons you order to open up however many people, that first shift will cover that. So before the surgeons finish, what else will you guys do besides question? Or is that all you're going to do for now?
Stone's going to try and contact his contact at Wallace and see if we can have an emergency medical facility set up somewhere close by, but not in like a blast radius of this place, to try and get the people who can't be moved, quote unquote, get them to a place where they can be taken care of away from the danger.
Okay.
And that's going to be the thing he's going to do.
Okay. Is everyone else joining the questioning, or is there another thing that you want to be able to do for this shift?
I'm going to do documentation of it outside of the interviews. I want to do physical. I'm going to use my camera system to take pictures of literally all of the incisions on every single patient. I want to compare to see if it's one person doing this. If it's the same blade, I want to send all this to the forensics and find out if it's the same blade doing all this, maybe the same person, or if it's just 10, 15 people doing this all in it. And then I'm also going to... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that for timeline-wise, you're going to spend the first shift doing that, and then the second shift, you can pay someone in forensics with a promotion point to run it for you, but that would mean the information arrives to you on the third shift. Which is still useful, but it's not going to be a good timeline for the bomb threat. It's a good timeline for the investigation. Although your second shift can still be done with something, it's just that you're submitting it by the second shift. You can still do things, but it will take time.
I almost want to circle back to actually finding out who did this, and
that would be useful information. It's just not going to be useful for stopping the bomb.
Oh man.
Well, if we could get information from that person.
Yeah. It'll be useful to stop or to investigate the man, but it will take too long. That process will take too long for the bomb itself.
I hear you. Thank you.
So
Yeah,
if that's what you want to do, that's fine.
Take pictures. Yeah, I'll take pictures compared to crime databases of everyone. I'm just going to just document everything. Just like I said, the incisions. I want to know if there's multiple people at work, or if it's the same guy who did the cutting of the last case where on the back guy's back. I don't know.
Okay. Do I take it then that that Lance and Evie are going to be the interrogators, or is there one of you that's going to do something else?
I think between you and Evie, we can probably ask more people than just one of us.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, great. So there is a disadvantage on the next person that makes a roll. It will not be Lance or Evie because the two of you are together at this. So between George and Echo, one of you is taking a disadvantage, and I'll give you what you're gonna roll, and I'll let the two of you decide who that is. So for George, you have to make your connections, and you will be spending a chin-yen for this.
Okay.
Or Echo, you will not spend anything yet. You spend a promotion when you submit the evidence, but you will be rolling tech or observation. I give you that choice. Which one of you would like to assume the disadvantage?
What's your observation or tech?
I'm just a D.
In both?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take the disadvantage.
Echo, if you would prefer, I'll also take medical aid, since you're looking at, the...
Sadly, it's everything under intelligence. I'm pretty low in, so medical aid is still a D. All three of those.
I'll take the disadvantage. Okay.
I'll take the disadvantage. So
George, take out one of your chin-yen and roll your connection.
Yes. Take away one chin-yen. And
see what it looks like.
Oh
I'm
my
hearing
god.
the Super Bowl halftime show.
so here's a question: can I use one of those +2s to gain advantage on this and just make it a
Yes,
straight
you
roll?
can. Which essentially means that you will make a straight roll. So yes, you can.
Okay. Yes. Whew. Thank you, chat.
One of those +2s, I'd like to say from Bookish Wyvern cancels out Kitsune's disadvantage that she gave.
Wyvern versus Kitsune, rar.
Let's see if you succeed. There you go.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
You make the call to Simons. When he answers, he just tells you, "Stone, buddy, how's it hanging? What's going on?"
Yeah, buddy, I need your help.
What is it?
We got a situation down here involving some potential something down here at Mercy at the what did you call it again?
LA
DM,
General.
Mercy General Hospital. LA General. I need an emergency medical suite set up for patients who quote unquote can't be moved outside of a reasonable blast radius of the hospital. And I need it ASAP. I need it today. I need it now. I need it yesterday. If you could help it. And you were the only one I needed to call.
I got security staff and safe houses that can be retrofitted to a medical facility in a couple of hours, but I'll run it by the bosses, although this would make for some great publicity if I can spin this. Give me 2 hours to figure it out, and I'll send some medical transports, hopefully get them there in one piece. I'll let you know.
They have to be able to transport people that otherwise would not be able to be moved.
Oh shit.
Yeah. These people, they've already evacuated everybody that they can. Like I need an on-site thing if you can help it. Wallace is the only one I could think of that might have that kind of clout.
LA General's a couple of blocks from the nearest safe house. Alright, let me see what I can get the bosses to do. It would make for great publicity, I'm sure they'll go for it, but it might take a few hours. Can you buy me that time?
I can totally buy you that time. We have 24 hours, so I need it as soon. I need it within that time frame.
You got it, but I'll check it out. I'll let you know.
Thank you, appreciate it. Yep, and I've already sent you your fee.
Yeah. He hangs up, and at this point, you are going to have to facilitate everything. He's going to ask you for details. He's going to ask you for patient names. You're going to have to run around the hospital, figuring out the exact conditions of each patient. And you're going to be going.
And I will go ahead and spend this shift doing that.
Dr. Hastings is going to accompany you, making sure he answers every question you have, so you have the full details of who it is you're moving. Meanwhile,
Gotcha. Okay.
Echo, observation, tech, or medical aid, your choice. Although you said they're the same thing.
I am going to...
Advantage?
I'm going to do observation, because I'm looking for something out of the ordinary, something unusual, but still documenting.
There's advantage if you like it.
You know what? I'm gonna.
There's 4 of them.
I don't know. There's 4 of them, but at the same time, I don't really know how well this is gonna lead. I'm kind of guessing on this.
We'll need it.
You know what? That's
Good,
it. I'm looking
man.
for a connection. Yeah, I'm gonna do an advantage. Let's do it.
Advantage. Okay.
Thanks.
Nice. All right. So now you have 3 of advantages or +2s left. But when you start documenting, and again, you can submit this at the end of the shift, and this information really becomes pertinent at the end of the shift. I'm just giving it to you now. You take the camera, one of them on your shoulder, probably rolling for the footage, the other one on your hand, making sure that you get still images. The bomb inside the one that's being... Sorry, you guys want just one, right? Just one person to be opened up for now. The bomb is
I believe so,
implanted within the rib cage and attached to the nervous system with the wiring. True to his word, it looks like a cybernetic implant. The other thing is, the metal used to make it is not substandard. This is high-grade quality metal and aluminum that's been used to case the bomb. The other thing is the incisions done initially on the body itself, the one that had to be undone to open them up, is done with medical-grade skin glue to cover it up. And according to the surgeon undoing that glue, the cut was made by a very, very well-trained surgeon. Someone who absolutely knows what they're doing and likely has a facility, or at least at bare minimum, the proper equipment to do it. That would mean precision tools, not just a random knife. Scalpels, no bone saws are needed, the ribcage is intact, but definitely the kind of tools you need to install cybernetic implants. So whoever's doing this is well-trained and knows all of this. But again, you'll have to keep that to yourself for now, because this is at the end of your observation. So, Lance and Evie, in the middle of a interrogation, you guys can split off within the same shift to talk to multiple people, but you're just gonna ask those general questions. There's something else you're gonna ask them, or try to ask them.
I mean, I think keeping it down to like 3 questions. Time
Simple
is of
question.
the essence. So, yeah, the important. What was it? Was do you remember anything out of the ordinary before you got the bomb? Is there anybody here who isn't a part of the people who should be here? And what was the last question? There was one more in there.
Where'd they wake up?
Yeah, just like if they remember anywhere where they were like taken, like any locations.
Sounds like it didn't happen in their bathtub. We'll see.
Okay.
Sorry, I should
So-
deal with myself. I apologize.
Can both of you roll your manipulation and get them to talk?
Manipulations? Could I do connections? Because I mean, I would Being who I am, being the farmer boy from back in the day, I'd like to kind of just like have a conversation with these folks first, instead of going to like direct questioning, using statements and relating to them on a human level, and not coercing them to
Right.
my chagrin.
So, the thing about connections is that it's literally to build on connections you have with people. But I will
perfect,
let you
then.
use insight. Because connections means that you already have something with that person, whether it's money or bribes.
Gotcha.
But I'll let you use insight if you want to be as a stand-in for something a little more empathetic.
Perfect. Then I'm gonna go ahead and roll regular insight. I'm not gonna
And
take
again,
any of the
for
plus
EV
twos. I feel like we're gonna need them for later.
Either one.
I'm
You
gonna
can take the
use
one
my
that's dedicated to
advantage.
you. Okay, so both of you have something dedicated to you. Wow.
Whoa.
Okay.
Tell me everything.
I guess we start with actually, we'll start with Lance.
Jesus,
And then
Evie.
get to the
Fuck.
crit. Oh.
Fuck.
Well, both of you, for the record, crit. Two
It's
of those
good.
eyes are basically crit. 2 successes are basically crit. But let's start with Lance. For the half of the people you're talking to, I'll decide. You guys, between the two of you, decide, since you're splitting off. First half or second half of the 20 patients. Which ones do you want to take? Because they will have different, varying information. So which one does Lance?
You take
and
10.
Eve take?
I take 10.
Yeah, but like which half? The first half or the second half? That's the semi-important part.
Oh, okay.
Which
well,
one does
rookie,
Lance
you
take?
want to? I'll leave it up to the rookie.
I'll take 1 through 10. I'll take the first
Sure.
half.
So Lance, the second half, when you start speaking with them, they have very similar experiences. They were at home. They went to sleep. Some of them, on this side, did wake up thinking that someone broke into their house. They heard something. But they don't remember anything after that. The next thing that they remember is they woke up on the street, already dressed in work clothes, and in an excruciating amount of pain. They were on a street about a block away from the hospital. Like everything about their waking up scenario was designed so that they would go to the hospital, because you wake up randomly in severe amounts of pain and you see the hospital you work at right there. First instinct, you'd go to the hospital because it's there. But all of them have that latter part of the experience the same. They woke up a block away from the hospital, different blocks. They didn't see each other until they all managed to get into the main entrance. That's when they started seeing each other. Then they walked in, and this happened. Some of them were asleep the whole time and never really heard anything. Some of them woke up from sounds, hearing someone in their house. They thought it was an intruder. For Evie, on your side of the bed, or your side of the ERs, similar ending situation. They were blocks away from the hospital, walking distance. They were in excruciating pain, and they walked into the hospital. That's it. The starting experience, however, your group of people are a lot more varied. One thing to mention, all of these people were on leave for the previous night. Like, they didn't go to work the previous day. That was their day off. On this day, this half of people still have an extended day off, and they are also practitioners, nurses, because what Lance has are the custodial staff. What you're looking at here are some practitioners, nurses, doctors, receptionists, accountants, the business side of the hospital, or the doctor, the medical side and the business side. So these are the real college graduate professionals, if you will. And they had 2 days off, including today. They weren't supposed to be in today. They woke up, they're in pain, They went inside. Between those two informations, Evie, there is something else that you gather, not necessarily from what they say, but how they say it and how they're responding to you. A number of these people, especially the doctors or the practitioners who are affected by this and in extreme amounts of pain, they're able to articulate the kind of pain that they have. It basically says that although this thing was implanted like a cybernetic implant, there wasn't much care put into the patient's physical well-being. Like, they put in the implant, but they didn't really do certain steps that were needed to make sure the implant doesn't physically hurt you and trigger your nerves. So right now, what's causing them the pain isn't the surgery, based on what Evie's observing. It's how it was attached to their nervous system. It didn't kill the pain receptors. So they are feeling the electrical wires surging into their nervous system, which explains the full body pain. Whoever did this wanted them to suffer. They did everything right with cybernetic implants except for that one thing that allows it to seamlessly transition into nerve endings from wires. And it feels intentional. Like, that doesn't seem like something, if you're this good, that doesn't seem like something you'd miss. But to you, this feels extremely intentional. Mm-hmm. They wanted them to suffer. So, with all that information, yes, go on.
I was gonna ask the kind of the question that I asked earlier about if they knew of any employee who ended up being a replicant, or like any doctor.
No one here knows. Like, they don't know. They know people that were taken out of the hospital. Mm-hmm. They know colleagues that were removed from the hospital. In fact, they have colleagues that were removed for treating replicants.
Okay.
But none of them are registered, or if they are, then they have fake IDs. But none of them have paperwork that indicates they were replicants.
Okay.
However, the exact names of all of them are a little hard to get with the amount of pain that they're all in.
Sure.
So your first shift is done. And before anything else, Echo, if you want to submit this immediately to forensics to get it done quickly, you'll just spend the promotion point. Because of the nature of this threat, I will not make you do any connections roll for this. This is too important for them to put on the back burner. So it's just the promotion point.
Thank you. It's going to be the pictures of the surgery of the guy being opened up and the bomb inside of him, and then also the surgery scars of all the patients. So,
okay. So, second shift begins. This is what happens before you guys get together. The surgeon has managed to open the body. Wallace has, in their infinite generosity, created a safe space and hyper-advanced ambulances that are going to be capable of transporting those on critical life support. And those ambulances, from George's perspective, when you're monitoring everyone is being moved, 100% working. There's a seamless transition between their life support to the power source of the ambulance to the power source of the place, and you can monitor the transfer as they get transferred one by one, making sure no one dies. It is as advertised. It is a very high-end procedure that only a place like Wallace could afford to do. Certainly not this hospital.
I have a question as a player. I have a question as a player. When I help, I imagine that I would probably be helping get some of the people all taken care of and get ready to be moved.
Yes.
Would any of them have like scars over their heart or over their chest area to indicate that they might have a pacemaker of some kind?
A few of them do.
Okay. I see that. And my gears start turning and I'm like, wait a minute. And I will go to the doctor as soon as they're all moved and I'll say, hey doc, I I've heard that the pacemakers shouldn't be around magnets, correct? Is that because they short out if you go around too much of a magnetic field?
That and some pacemakers have a few traces of metal on them that will destroy them. Yes.
Okay. Huh.
And nervous system. No.
So you'll be directing them because you still have to oversee this.
Out of character, as somebody who has a pacemaker, myself, they are connected to your nervous system at least arterially. So Stone will kind of once we get back in, he will try and find Lance and fill him in on that little theory of maybe we could use the well, I'll save it until we get in there.
Sure.
But, yeah.
So again, here's the information you have before you guys start your second shift. When the bomb was cut off, it was a dud. It only took 3 hours, so you have 20 left. Roughly 20 hours. The thing is, when you open them up and you look inside, there is a very sophisticated bomb that was taken out successfully, mind you. The person is alive. You have a sample of the bomb that was made, and if you believe the voice, the man who did this, they're all identical minus a blasting cap. When you look at the small bomb, it is about the size of 2 rib cages high and very thin. It has a very powerful blasting agent, but it is missing a cap. There has to be some specialty in demolitions to create this. There must have been someone who is an expert at creating sophisticated and very high-tech bombs, because he has tied this bomb's power source to the body itself like a cybernetic. This isn't just someone who knows cybernetic implants and surgery. They're also an expert at demolitions, or maybe there's more than one person.
If this is one person, it's a Nexus 8, because this would have to be somebody who. This would have to be somebody who had not only medical knowledge but also explosives knowledge, indicating a dual specialization in the army. Maybe on Calantha.
And the thing is, the thing that helps that theory as well is that these bombs, while they're very high tech, the kind of blasting agent that's being used was extremely common during the wars in Calantha. These were the kinds of explosives the Nexus 8 soldiers used during the wars. Calantha being an off-world planet. So these are very indicative of the kind of explosives the Nexus 8s would be extremely familiar with. But again, that's just what you have. On the other hand, again, the surgery's been done. You have 20 hours now, and there is a rough estimate timer, give or take 5 minutes, given that you had to watch the video and everything. The forensics team is now on the case of finding out more about the information that Echo's provided. What would you guys like to do now?
Can I do a connections roll to have some investigators go out to the residences of the people, the custodial and the medical teams that had people maybe breaking and entering in their homes?
Yes, you can. You will spend 1 promotion point, but you will have to make connections because that is a Blade Runner's job, and you're getting LAPD to do it. But you can absolutely try.
Totally fine. Because while they're doing that, I want to see if I can't do anything else in here in the meantime.
There are 2 things in the back burner right now for this second shift that's being done. The forensics and investigations into the homes of these 20 people. All of that will be done by the end of the second shift now. So you guys still have your time. What do you do?
So now that we have a lot of the critical, like the critical care people have been evacuated and everything now. Can we circle back to George's idea about the EMP?
Yeah, what actually does George say about the pacemakers and the
So
bombs
George
in
will come. George will come to you all and say, "Well, I only know secondary knowledge, but my uncle, God rest his soul, had one of these things about 10 years ago before he passed. And the doctors always said that you shouldn't be around magnetic fields because it can actually it will always short them out, but it will also potentially cause the metal inside of the thing to be damaged, and to thus damage the nervous system of the person. I figure an EMP would do it, but on a more localized note, I mean, we could try and take that dud that we I mean, I don't really know. I just he visibly looks frazzled, like this is a little bit out of his bailiwick. He's never had to deal with something of this magnitude and this gravitas before, but he says maybe we could put one of them into an MRI or something along those lines and go from there. See if it shorts it out.
Yeah, at least one of them, and see.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the alternative, it might damage their nervous system, but they're
that can
probably
be
gonna die anyway.
That can be repaired if they don't die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Will that be the plan?
Oh my god, I'm kind of torn. I'm at a loss here.
By the way, first shift over,
Mhm.
critical patients gone. Meaning this hospital only has these people now. Thanks to Wallace's intervention.
Nice.
Good.
So right now, there is no risk to the rest of the patients' lives.
Gotcha.
You have not free reign to experiment, but you have some leeway now.
Well, I guess anybody who doesn't have any cybernetic implants and any pacemakers or any medical implants should be subject to the EMP.
Well, they're all gone.
Yeah.
Like, the hospital's basically
sorry, I'm
ghost
talking
town.
about the.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm talking about our patients, our 20,
Oh, sure. No,
our 19 bombs.
For the record, in Blade Runner, cybernetic implants are not as common as they are in something like Cyberpunk Red. They're actually pretty rare, so you don't really have too many.
That's why it's such a special thing that George has a neuroport in his head.
So there's that. Like, there's no one amongst these 20 who have any kind of pacemakers or other kind of cybernetics that might screw up if you EMP them.
Because we can rebuild the we can replace or rebuild the different aspects of the electrical system in this place. I don't think we'll be able. I think this is the best shot we got. We're already halfway through the day, and I don't know what we're going to be able to do after this, because it's the best solution from what I can see.
Anyone of you who has a grade of tech above B and above?
I have a B.
B. Okay.
And
I would give you
to
for
analyze
free.
the bomb, but
Before you, because you still can. I'm just giving this to you for free as information for the sake that your skill is high. The EMP thing is not necessarily a bad idea if you're willing to risk the nerves of the people, because like George has said, they can be repaired with today's technology. But you can also make it slightly less dangerous if you take a little bit more time and turn the generator into a localized EMP, meaning something that you can focus it on instead of the entire building. But it would
like
take
an EMP ray.
Yes, but it would be an extended amount of time to set it up. No one in the LAPD necessarily has the ability the knowledge to do that faster.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you call someone to do it or you do it yourself, it would roughly take the same amount of time. It's a jury rigging process, and the hospital would lose its generator, but it wouldn't lose all of its important tech, and you would have much less collateral damage with the buildings. But it would be risking the amount of time you're spending here. You're going to be running the clock pretty near. And by that I mean because this is such a very delicate procedure, it would take most of your third shift as well to accomplish it. So you have to be sure that this is going to work. It also minimizes the damage to the person because you're targeting the very specific implant, not their whole body.
Yeah. I'm thinking that's probably going to be a really good idea, is build basically a glorified zap gun and
Yes.
zap all our patients.
But
Push
it
'em
will
through
take
it.
your
It's a
second shift and the tail end of your third. So you're basically occupied for those 2 shifts and you're running the clock. Like it's going to take a bit of time. The others can still
What do
do
you
whatever
think?
they want, but you're gonna have to... Basically, you're waiting on that timeline. So you're running the clock very near.
And I think that's a good idea. I still think that it might be a good idea just to like use an MRI just to see if that even helps.
No,
like,
because an MRI uses
deactivate
magnets.
Oh, okay.
That's why you can't have
Yeah.
any metal in it, so it would be extremely dangerous.
That was my initial thing. That was my
Oh, okay,
initial.
gotcha.
That was what I was saying, is that it might be able to disrupt it. It might short it out, but it's undoubtedly going to cause serious problems.
Yes.
It could potentially rip the fucking thing out of their chest.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm
So-
gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna spend 2 shifts trying to build this zap gun because calling on my
You-
farm knowledge, hopefully.
You are gonna be rolling your tech. And by the way, during those 2
Would-
shifts, you can still give Lance information.
Mhm.
If
Okay.
anything changes, you can still give him information. Maybe he abandons the project in the 3rd shift. Whatever you find out, you still give him. But for Lance,
Would it be
I'll have you roll your tech first, and then we'll get to whatever one.
Oh,
nice
look
crit.
at that!
Great.
Didn't even need any
Perfect.
advantages.
So, you've decided on making that. Essentially, you're taking the generator, and because George has pointed out the MRI, rather than making like a gun out of scrap metal here, you could rewire the MRI as well. Make that the localized EMP blast. So you put them in the MRI, they get blasted. Next person, next person, next person. It's going to cost the
And you get
hospital an
weird
MRI
health.
machine, but it's going to save everyone's lives. So
The
it's
generator and the
worthwhile
generator.
trade-off.
So
yes, but it's a worthwhile
You know,
trade-off compared to losing these lives. So you basically
And
move
potentially
the
the
generator.
hospital and our jobs.
Not really. I mean, this is your job.
A couple
save
billion
people.
Genuine, you know, for one
Well,
MRI.
knowing what we know about these investors, I'm not worried about their pocketbooks.
That
Yeah.
is true.
Right.
So
By the way, that was another thing that I would like to do. I had
Yes.
I had mentioned at the end of last session that I had put in a text message to Mr. Wilkins over at the Continental.
okay. And
Do you remember
were
what I
saying?
sent you?
Oh yes.
I had asked him if it would be possible to potentially line up some alternative investors so
Yes.
these fuckers don't have to deal with this shit anymore.
They're gonna start looking into it.
Part of my
Yes.
Go ahead,
Good.
Echo.
I was gonna say part of my shift is kind of related to that. I would like to. Well, I'm just gonna say out loud. I'm gonna say also. I don't think we're gonna play his game of open the briefcases and hope we get the money. I think the idea of opening up any more of these patients and costing any more time to be subtracted is not the game we want to play. So I think we're done opening bodies for now. I like the idea of going forward with disabling it. If that's the case, if this works, I'm just going to start moving on to who's responsible for this, because we can't have another bunch of people show up tomorrow. We got to catch this guy because he's out here doing this. So I would like to. The most suspicious person I see right now that just stands out to me are the investors themselves. I would like to. I want to check with IRS or whoever I need the funding or something. I need to do research on who is funding this. entire thing. If it's a single group, somebody stands out.
Okay. So you are going to spend a promotion point to access the Esper Wall, which is your gigantic Big Brother-sized databanks of everything. And then you will roll tech to go through all of that.
Man, almost. I shouldn't be the one doing this because I have such a low, but I'm going to use my boosting powers
Okay.
to.
You want an advantage?
Yeah, is it? Can I do 2 searches, or once I'm in, I can do searches?
You can do whatever search you want. You just have to siphon through it. So that's what the tech
because I
roll
want
is.
to ask. Yeah, I want to know who they are and if they have other investments in the city.
Right.
Big. So I'm gonna do tech
So
with it.
2?
I'm gonna do a rogue
Sure.
without advantage because I already used one. I don't want to eat them all up, guys. Even though
There's
I'm a
still
D.
3 left floating around.
There's 3.
Yes.
Do you guys mind if I use one because I'm a D in tech?
Go for it. I think
Unless there's-
if anything,
Unless there's anyone in the chat who would like to be a kind soul and give them a 4th. Or a
I'm
negative.
gonna roll before someone screams.
or some negatives. Yeah, I mean,
Go before someone gives you a negative. Oh no.
No, with advantage. I still gotta.
Want to push it?
I'm gonna
can you
push it.
Push it. Push it.
I'm gonna push it. I'm not
Go
gonna
ahead.
waste one and then not risk the push.
That is the 1 stress would have automatically been marked, but that is what you need. That's even a crit. So you've already received the stress from it. Okay. So you've got that going on. Before I get to the information, what will the others do? While Lance is jury rigging an EMP machine, Echo is siphoning through information, continuing the actual investigation. Which, by the way, you guys can help Lance and maybe minimize the shift, but if you fail the roll, you're going to delay his progress. So it's a risk.
I'm like that dad. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I'm working on this.
So if
I don't
we
need your
choose
help.
if we choose to help Lance, we would also have to roll for tech.
Yes, you will. And if you succeed,
Okay, then.
it will only take the second shift, and you'll have a lot more time. But if you fail, he'd have to take all the way to the 4th shift and cut it close.
Can I recant what I said before? Then I will try and help Lance on this shift.
Sure, absolutely. You can
Okay.
roll tech.
And I'm going to use one of the things to try and get advantage on this.
Sure.
Come
so
on.
now there are 2
Big
left.
money, no whammies.
Oh, wait, there were 3. 2. There's 1 left. Oh no.
I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna
Sure.
push it.
There's just
I'm
1
gonna
left
push
now.
it. Let's see here.
All you have to do is click the push button
Push button.
on the chat,
Where's
on the dice result.
Oh,
underneath the dice
is
result.
that what it is? Oh, okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
Perfect.
Hey, there we go.
Advantage matters, and no stress either. Good
Nice.
for you. Okay, so this will
Yay.
now only take the second shift as George is now helping Lance with the wirings. George is working on the EMP to Lance's specifications. Lance is working on rerouting the generator's power to give it the extreme amount of electrical current that it needs. That leaves Evie. What's your plan?
Can I ask?
Oh.
Can I add one little thing in
Sure,
before
sure.
that?
Go ahead.
I'd like to imagine that I go down and I start grabbing random shit from off the shelves down by the generator, and I'm just like, I'm grabbing a tin can, a coat hanger, and this and that. And
Sure.
Lance looks over, is like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm just jury rigging your doohickey to get you a little bit of juice out of this thing.
The annoying thing, Lance, is that he's not
given
doing it
enough
wrong.
time, I can get it. Given it enough time, I can get us to Uranus.
The annoying thing, Lance, is that while it looks horrible, he's not actually doing it wrong, so you can't really say much about it. Like, maybe
not
do it a little
great,
more
but
And
finesse.
my protein farm that I used to work on.
I would like to now bring to attention, while I ask Evie what she's gonna do, is that there is now another -2 once again from Miserable Junkie, once again on you. if you roll something now. So, what do you want to do, Evie?
Oh no. Well, I wanted to try and see if I can find who dropped off these people. Cause okay, so just to remind me, so everyone got dropped off like a few blocks from the
They
hospital.
woke up a few blocks from the
They
hospital.
woke up.
So someone must have
Okay.
dropped them off, yeah. Like someone would have dropped them
Were
off.
they all together or were they in separate places?
No, they did not meet each other until they went to the main entrance. Like they saw each other at the main entrance. So they were separated from each other.
They were separated from each other.
But they
So
were
like homeless
within
people at Harbor.
streets and blocks of... They were within 1 to 2 blocks and various streets and alleys in view of the hospital.
Okay. God, I have no chinion and no
Don't you have any promotion? Oh, you spent them for origami.
I have no, it's I'm just trying to figure out if I should call people at the RDU to see if they can tap CCTV to see if there's any cars that like dropped these people. I have no promotion points and no chinion though.
You are allowed to borrow promotion points from anyone else, and whether you pay that back later or just decide that, you know, I'll pay for the next one, that's up to the players, but you are allowed to take it from someone else.
Or potentially give me one.
Or, this is a shift, you could do it yourself.
Okay, I can do it myself. Okay.
But you would be leaving the hospital and making your way back to the RDU to do it.
I think that this is potentially important enough because if we can get a license plate, if we can get anything that could
Right.
potentially trace it back to who did it, I think that that's pretty important.
Wait a minute. Can she not use the KIA hooked up to my laptop?
No. Well, the thing is, if you do from a KIA, that's what costs the promotion point. That's why Echo has to pay. If you do it from the RDU itself, where you have the full thing in front of you, then you can do it freely, but you spend your shift doing it.
I gotcha. I'm willing to loan you one,
Okay.
or even give you one because this is important.
Yeah. And everyone would rather me stay at
Yes.
the
Yeah,
hospital.
because the main consequence of not spending the promotion points is that you would be in the RDU, so if anything happens in the third shift, you're not gonna make it in time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Right. So
Okay.
you can.
You don't want to watch
so
your captain blow up.
George can take out 1 promotion point for you. But since you're the
you.
one investigating it, unfortunately, you are gonna have to roll your tech with a disadvantage. However, I will also point out that there are now 2 floating +2s, one of them from Bookish Wyvern. So if you want to use one to cancel the disadvantage,
So this would be tech?
yes,
Oh no.
you may use one of them to negate the disadvantage, but you will
I
have to
may
take
have
the
to, 'cause
disadvantage either way.
I roll a D8 and a D6 on this. I have a C and a D rating. I'm not great at tech. Okay, so I'll
Take an advantage.
use one of the +2s so that I can just roll
You can
straight.
thank Bookish Wyvern for the extra +2. But
Thanks, Bookish Wyvern, you're the best.
you can also thank Miserable Junkie for making you get a disadvantage in the first place.
Push it.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Push it.
Push it, but remember, if you get a 1 or a unicorn symbol, that automatically goes to stress. Unless you'd spend the last of your +2s negating it, but otherwise, might as well push it. Kind of a waste. There you go.
Yes.
A crit too.
This is the real Super Bowl.
For real.
I'm also just
Can't
gonna
believe
point it
that
out
just happened.
for the second time.
I can't believe that just
Miserable
fucking
Junkie has
happened.
given you a disadvantage for the second time.
Why do you
Of
hate
two
me,
sessions in a row.
Junkie?
I did ask for the negatives. We need more negatives. We need more
I know,
negatives.
we do.
Drop
We
it.
Lance
do.
asked, it just happened that it fell on your turn. Okay. So
Can they specify a -2 next time to anyone but me, please?
You
You know
even
what?
I get a
If
-2,
anyone the
I'll be
chance
fine.
wants to specify a -2, I'll allow it. If you want to make it that targeted. So, if anyone wants to make a disadvantage targeted, feel free. But, someone just put another -2 in Birdzilla.
See,
Unless
the
he
thing is,
specifies this applies to the very next roll. But Birdzilla now is given disadvantage. So, second shift information gathered. Because of George's help, anyone except Evie got it. Gets a -2. Whoever the next roll that isn't Evie is gets a negative. Because of George's help, you are able to jury rig this machine. It is not the prettiest looking jury rig, and it would cost this hospital millions, but it will save the lives of everyone involved. Next, Echo. When one thing first. The forensics, when they come back, they are able to tell that the skin glue is military issue. Meaning, this is the kind of thing they use as field medics to patch up any soldiers that have been severely injured, to kind of close the wounds, because skin glue works very quickly, kind of like skin super glue. So this is field use. This isn't the kind the hospital uses, because it's much more quick acting, which is sometimes bad depending on the type of injury. That's why hospitals use a different variant. The other thing that the forensics find out is from the bomb itself, the samples that you've sent, they'll confirm your suspicion that it is the common explosive used. They'll also confirm your suspicion that these explosive materials being used in the bomb are highly illegal and not available natively in Los Angeles anymore. So these would have been smuggled in from off-world, possibly from some arms dealers in Calantha. They would have been smuggled in here, so you're gonna have to look for someone who specializes in smuggling these kinds of tech and weapons. Next, regarding the houses that you guys had investigated, you look into them, and all 20 of their houses have signs of breaking and entering. The security cameras for those who were able to afford it have very clearly been tampered with, in the sense that their wires were cut. So they're a very simple method of just getting rid of the cameras, no hacking or anything, just cut the power. But there are several signs of breaking and entering in every house, so they were all broken into. Next, Eve, we'll go to the team's work. Echo, remind me again, what was it that you were going to do with your shift? You were just looking into it and you had other questions?
I was looking into... I wanted to know who the major funders, who the major funding was coming from, if it was for the hospital, if it was a group,
right,
and if they had any other major funding within the city that I might be interested in that stands out to me.
Okay. So, the investors of this hospital are, majority of them, off-world. There are 20 total investors who have funded this hospital for the billions that it is worth. 17 of them are off-world. 3 of them are in Los Angeles. As far as their profiles and everything, from what you can gather, all of them have lost someone during the wars in Calantha. They all have, I don't want to say a justification, but they all have prejudice against replicants for what you can estimate is a particular reason. Some of them also date as far back as the Nexus 6, where there were terrorist attacks left and right. So all of these people, from what you can tell on the information gathered, invested and essentially bought this hospital for the explicit purpose of getting revenge. Like, they just don't want replicants to be roaming around anymore. They're very anti-replicant. Now, the interesting thing... Yes?
I was gonna ask if I could I do a follow-up Google search if I could, knowing all this information, if I'm still tapped in, or do I have to do another shift?
What do you want to ask?
I want to ask if I type in the word kill media with any of these investors if anything comes up?
One of them is a supporter, meaning they
As in
subscribe
who's
to it.
funding
No, not funding it, but
Oh,
they
just a
subscribe to it. Like they avidly read it and they share a lot of it. Like they forward a lot of the articles. But and the interesting thing about the investors, all 20 of them have formed a sort of coalition against Replicant. And I say that as in the sense they are all trying their damnedest to undermine Wallace Corporation's attempts to reintroduce Nexus 9s. They were all heavily against lifting of the ban of Replicant. Because for the longest time, before the Nexus 9s in 2037, there was a huge long-term ban over the creation of replicants in general.
Human supremacy.
You mentioned the terrorist attacks.
Yes. Yes?
You mentioned the terrorist attacks of the past. Those were done by Nexus 6s. Doing terrorist attacks similar to what we're witnessing today?
They were a lot less gamey and morally high-horsey about it, but essentially they just go to a building and blow it up versus whatever is happening here. But these investors were victims of those attacks, or had known victims of those attacks. But the main point is that these 20 investors are all part of the same human supremacist group, and they do not have the money necessary to take down Wallace Corporation. And there's this sort of hope that if they pool enough people with some amount of money, they'll probably be able to do it at some point.
Do they have
if you think about
name
it,
for their...
no, because they don't acknowledge that they exist. It's by de facto they're the same group. This is emphasized by the fact that one call to Wallace, and they are able to solve the problem this hospital can't, with all the money being given to them, which is transferring critical condition patients. Wallace has chump change for them to do that, whereas these 20 investors can't even afford to do that for the hospital. That's the disparity you're looking at, but they are still trying to fight against it. So, any more follow-ups?
No, I think I'm good, but I just want to walk out of that thinking to myself, if they don't have that kind of money, then are they really I don't know if they could afford to cause all these bombs and all this thing. Although it might be.
No. It's more of they have money. Wallace has more. If you think of them as like individual millionaires, Wallace Corporation has money equivalent to like the United States' GDP.
Yeah.
As a monthly-ish income. Like they're filthy, ridiculous rich. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like millionaires versus trillionaires.
Yeah, that's the disparity. But in terms of getting bombs, they're still absolutely able to afford that. The bombs aren't that expensive. Smuggling isn't that hard. Just needs the right connections.
Well, if I know anything about...
Hmm?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Evie. Looking into the homes, like I said, when you look into their profiles, where they were dropped off. There are several cameras. Basically, there are no blind spots in Los Angeles. Big Brother's always watching. The Esper wall is always there. When you move around, you see there is one large container van flying that drops them all off. It's the same thing that drops them all off. It looks like, not the reference, but it looks like the scene from Squid Games kicking out the players. Like, they get tossed out, but they're all unconscious, and they're already dressed. So something happened in between breaking into their house and then dropping them here, besides the surgery. Like, they're already been dressed. And they get tossed out, which explains the need for military-grade skin glue, because it's meant to survive strenuous activity, because it's meant to make the soldiers keep moving. unlike regular hospitals grade skin glue, which is safer and designed to let people and designed for people to relax in. Now, when you look at all the footage, you have the van. It is the same license plate. It is the same make. It is the same everything. And you can even trace where the van stops. It goes over to a public parking area. But from the point that the van stops to looking at the screen where people exit from the parking space, there's so many people walking out of it that there's no reasonable way to identify anyone. It's a crowd. So basically he picked a space where he would blend, and did so at a time where a lot of people are sort of parking their vehicles there, night shift people parking there and leaving. So he's amongst the crowd, but he did leave the van there, and you don't see any footage to this point that the van has left, or that transport vehicle has left, so it might still be there.
How far away is it?
From this hospital, definitely not walking distance. If you want to get there within the same shift, you will have to use a spinner.
Okay.
It's all the way back to the back end of Sector 5.
Okay. Would I be able to search the plate?
Yes. It belongs to a small-time farmer who has recently reported it's stolen. As of last week.
That wasn't me.
It was your van.
It's Sapper Morton.
Yeah.
But it belongs to a protein farmer. Meaning the guys who ground up bugs for food.
Yes.
And it was reported stolen a week ago when you look it up.
Okay. I'm gonna go, since George and Lance are in the basement with the generator, I'm gonna go to Echo and I'm gonna let him know that I found the van and it's parked still. It's not close, but
Let's go.
I do know where it is. Okay.
I got the spinner. I'm the driver. This is my one skill that I have points in.
So here's the thing. Someone has to stay behind and spend the shift EMPing everyone. Because it's gonna take it's a delicate process. You have to be very careful and you have to spend all your time per person. And because you save time, you have a lot of it left. So what I wasn't telling you guys earlier is that if you had spent it all the way to the third shift, the roll needed to do it would have been a disadvantage. But because you have more time now, it's a straight roll for anyone who's going to be the one to stay behind and do it. Will that be Lance or someone else? It's still tech.
I'd planned to kind of, I built this thing. I'm the only one who probably knows how to operate the thing I just built, besides the stone.
George.
But I'm gonna.
There's like a coat hanger switch that you have to move aside to make it work.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you gotta jump on one foot, tap your leg, and.
I'm curious, Echo. Do you come down to George and do either of you come down and fill him in on what's going on with where you guys are going?
Yeah, are you guys actually gonna give the information to everyone, or is Evie specifically reporting it to everyone?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give like, because I feel like I go immediately to Echo on this, and he's like, let's go. So on our way out, call George and and Lance that, like, hey, this is going on. We're going to the car to see if there's anything in there.
George will immediately answer and say, if you guys think you're going into heat, check the trunk of my spinner. There's some goodies in there from our last encounter. Complete with ammo. The code to the trunk is 0245.
And let's say, would it make sense that maybe because me and you live in the same apartment building, that maybe we share a spinner? So Maybe it's
No,
just
this
the
is.
same one.
Oh yeah, this wouldn't be his personal car. So yeah, we would share a spinner. Yeah,
So you can take
Yeah.
his spinner
So the
instead.
one we're taking.
Okay.
you
Cool.
can take my spinner.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what George means is that when you open the trunk of your his spinner, there are 2 fully loaded Ender assault rifles in there. With full
And a 20
automatic
gauge
capability.
shotgun, a 20 gauge shotgun.
And a fully loaded 20 gauge shotgun, which was the one pointed at Echo's back a few days ago. So, familiar
I'm gonna-
weapons.
You'll see on the shotgun, there is a note that just simply says for Evie.
On the shotgun.
Yes, and one of these Ender assault rifles is probably the one that gave Evie the bullet hole a few days back. So,
Memory.
they are powerful weapons, but I will ask, you are on shift 3 and you will get there within shift 3, but do you want to get there as fast as possible? Or do you want to get there the normal way? The prior needing a roll.
I'm gonna go as fast.
I will also remind you that the
I'm
roll
gonna
is
go
going to be
for-
done at disadvantage because you're not Evie. Thanks to Birdzilla.
Oh right.
And I'll also remind the players, and for those of you watching, the timeline matters because things happen in the background that the players do not know about, depending on how much time you spend doing one thing or the other. So, Echo,
Yeah, well, this is the last place the bad guys were. If they're anywhere nearby, I want to be walking over. I want to be flying right over them as they're getting out of the driver's seat. I doubt they're still there, but the engine's still warm. I want to get there before it's cold.
roll your driving with a disadvantage. Unless I'm mistaken, if someone can correct me, there are no more bonuses left to use.
Can I use my own channel points to buy myself a bonus?
I don't believe so. No.
No.
I'm just messing around. I wouldn't even. I have an A in this. Why would I even guessing? There we go.
Because
I
you
don't
got
need
this.
to.
You
You
got
don't need
all
any
your
luck.
disadvantages.
Come on.
you can do
Let's see.
it with the disadvantage and you'd still get a critical.
Hurry before Kitsune decides to drop another -2, because they are chatting
For
right
some
now.
reason, it's not letting me click.
Oh no.
It's
It's not
game
letting me click.
pause.
It's just gray. Let me reload. I apologize, guys. I'll reload the website.
You like me to press it for you before you get sent a
Yeah.
disadvantage?
Click it. It's a
Sure.
it's a D12.
Oh, you have to roll disadvantage here.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yes.
Even on a
I still
disadvantage.
got it.
Oh, wait,
No,
no,
you-
that only rolled once. So let's try that again.
Do I click accept?
No. The way disadvantage works in this game is that
Oh, it's
it
a
doesn't roll
12.
twice and you take the higher or lowest. You only roll the highest die on disadvantage, which is exactly what it did.
Okay. So,
We got
looks
it.
like you're fine.
Yay
Echo?
for reading the rules.
Looks like you're fine, Echo. Oh, and Birdzilla has given another +2, so there's one floating around again. But Echo's driving the spinner with with purpose and resolve, and it is just flying through traffic. Now you and
I got the
Evie are going
all
there.
the lights going. I'm happy to finally use my Blade Runner powers to get through traffic.
Land, I need you to roll your tech to EMP and these people safely. No disadvantages are floating in. Hope that lasts for a bit. There's a +2 floating now. Ooh,
I'm gonna push it.
okay. Do you want to spend
and
the +2 to remove the
one
stress,
success,
or...
Yeah,
take the
I
stress?
spent the point of stress. Yeah.
Okay, so you're taking the +2?
No, sorry.
Oh,
no,
you
no,
take
sorry.
the stress. Okay, sure.
I take a stress, yeah, personally, because I have enough resolve for it.
Okay. So you're doing all that. What is George gonna do for your third shift?
George is going to assist Lance in actually George will look to Lance and say, "Boss, you got this?"
Looks
I
like
mean,
you do.
like I fail. the first one, I mean, like, because there's critical success, so like some like electricity sparks off of it, like almost shocking me. I'm like, fuck. Yeah, I'm good here. I'll be all right.
I will then spend this shift contacting Mr. Wilkins and see about getting them some alternative investors.
Oh, they're already looking for it. Like you already made that contact.
Are they?
They
okay.
just need to source
then I
it.
will. Then I will assist. I will assist. Lance in his operation.
Perfect. Make a tech roll. This might make it faster. Remember, same rules apply. If you fail,
I am going to use
the +2.
that +2.
Birdzilla has given you a plus. Go ahead.
Nice. Okay. This is with advantage. And I'm gonna push that. Yes!
Perfect. Not even stress. Okay. So you guys will still do it within the third shift, but in terms of internal shift timelines, you have the time to even catch up to Evie and Echo if they decide to go somewhere else. But for now, while you guys are doing it, and it is working out well, it hurts a bit, obviously, but these people are put under already. But all indications say that the blinking light goes off, they are safe, and you can even experiment with this. One of the surgeons will start removing it, and the timer doesn't seem to do much of anything. It doesn't send any signals out, which is how the timers reduce based on the forensic data you gathered. So it worked. Every time you put someone through, they remove it. At some point, they actually do remove the actual bomb. So now you know that you're in a safe zone. And the bomb itself, very easily sent to RDU. Like I said, you don't have to roll promotion for that. This is too dangerous to be political about. But it can be sent over as evidence later on. But you guys are able to safely get 20 people's lives back in order. And then Wallace can very slowly transfer those people back in the hospital. Well, probably not. There's still a threat. No bombs left, but someone clearly doesn't like this hospital. While you guys are doing this, Evie and Echoes... For now, you are.
I mean, you guys, good job, guys. We literally prevented like a massive terrorist attack on a major LA hospital.
And you didn't even play by the terrorist rules.
All it cost was an EMP machine and an MRI machine.
Which is a minor cost, to be honest, considering what you've accomplished. But Echo and Evie, you arrive at the parking lot. Evie does immediately recognize the van. It's there, and it's been left alone up to this point. No one seems to be around this floor. There are other cars here, personal owned, that are just parked. But it's mostly an empty lot because most of the cars have left to go to work. You guys are going there. What do you do?
Try and get into the van.
Forcefully or safely?
What would be the rolls on that?
Forcefully means using force, the skill, to break open the door. Safely would be using tech to try and pick the lock. Safely meaning that you don't break anything.
Yeah,
not an indication that there is something happening in the van. Just a matter of do you want to break it.
Evie, I do warn you, we are dealing with someone who did build 20 bombs. There's no reason he didn't build 21 bombs.
Yeah. Can we inspect the car and see if there's a bomb?
Yes, you can. It is observation. Or tech. I'll take either one.
Oh god, I'm equally bad at both.
I mean, you have Echo with you. Maybe he's got something.
Yeah. Are you better at either of those? I have a C and a D.
With my massive driving skill, can I jimmy the lock real through the windshield with a sheet of metal?
Rules is written, no, but I like the creativity, so I will let you use drive instead to mess around with the car. Sure.
Yes.
When it comes
never
to
hurts to
drive,
ask.
there is a thing here. Just
I'm
click
gonna bounce
disadvantage on
my
drive because
foot.
drive doesn't have a skill attached to it, so it's always rolling the d12. So just click the disadvantage button. It'll just roll 1 dice. Because there's no skill attached to drive. You always just get 1 dice.
I don't know if I know how to do this. I'm gonna see what I do.
Oh, just click driving and then click disadvantage because there's only 1 roll.
We got it. And I'm gonna do 2 things. Another thing I want to do is put my foot on the bumper and like check the shocks to see if the van is heavier than I think it would be.
Ooh.
Let's see.
Good. The expert. You are the expert in these things. We'll do the foot first because it's the safer one. The van is somewhat heavy. Somewhat. Not. It's a little
Could
bit
just be
low
more
on the
gas
ground.
in the tank.
Could be more gas. It's not super low like something extremely heavy is there, so it's not, a nuke or anything. But there is something in the van. It's not an empty van. Something.
Ooh, I know.
You're not sure how many pounds, but
Something
there's
big.
something in there. Do you still want to open the
All
door?
right, let's do the next one. Yeah.
Yeah. So you take like the window's closed, but you can do that old plunger and duct tape trick and just force it down. Because it's an old van. This isn't
Yeah.
like something super high tech. Unlock the door. There doesn't seem to be any bombs within the door area. When you look to the back, there is a body bag there that has the shape of a person in it. It's probably the only thing keeping the smell from seeping out.
It better not be the doctor from the hospital, the main doctor.
Would you like to open
Oh my
it?
God.
Or something.
Well, yeah, we gotta open it.
Every
Okay.
time it's a body, it's somebody that we already talked to or something. All right, let's open it up.
You open the body bag, and it's no one you know. Just a dead body. However, the dead body is dressed in surgical gear. And, you can do the standard test. Open his eye. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to push the eye a little bit with your finger and use the scanner. It is a Nexus 8. Dead. Looks like he's been dead for maybe 12 or so hours, just initially looking at it, but could be longer. You're not, forensics. And then you hear the screeching of a car, like the engine and the flying, just making a very quick U-turn as you guys turn around and you see someone was here and left in a hurry. Like they went up the ramp, saw you, and then just turned and just sped out of there.
Do we have time to give chase?
Yes, you do. But we,
Okay.
for now, we'll take a
Come on.
break while the two of you get in a car chase. So,
Guys, take a break. We
don't,
need it.
nobody go anywhere. We're gonna be back in about 10 minutes or so, and entering our very first car chase. See you guys soon. Don't go anywhere.
Rookie
And
car
if you
chase.
want to put any pluses or minuses in the chat, I will be looking through them the entire time. So we
Thank you,
will
chat.
take a break.
Yeah.
Hold on. And we're back.
Oh yeah.
So, we are now about to enter our first car chase. Now, like I said before, because Nolan, Lance, and George were able to speed run their saving of these people, and you don't really have to stick around for the surgeons removing all of the bombs. You can start going after them, I will assume that Echo and Evie tell their fellow teammates that they were in a car chase. That you're pursuing someone, or is this something that kind of slips your mind to report to your teammates?
Nah, we'll tell them.
Oh, me.
Like, in pursuit.
So you can send a location, and if the two of you would like to chase after them, you now have the opportunity to do so because you've sped up your timeline. But for now, we have a car chase to get to. So, a car chase here will work much the same like a regular chase. You have certain maneuvers that you can do while chasing after the person. They have a head start against you. Every maneuver you do is in the effort to try and make the range between you and the person less. Now, it already had its car. It zoomed out of this building, so you have free range bands away from it right now by the time you start chasing. What would you like to do with this car chase? You can pursue.
Well,
You can hide, which doesn't really apply because you're chasing. You can cut off, which is trying to get a shortcut to lessen the range band even further, and attempt to engage in melee combat, or anything else that you can think of that might make sense. Go on.
I think just the visual I'm getting is that they came down the ramp, they saw that we were there, they weren't expecting us to be there. They immediately turned around, and that means they're going up a ramp, which makes me think they're on some kind of a corridor. We're in a spinner. So I'm thinking instead of me just I'm going to take the shortcut skill, whatever that was, and I'm going to try to cut them off at the path by literally going into the third dimension.
Sorry, they are also on a spinner. Like, this is a vehicle's going up here, but they are U-turning going down, and what they've done is they've rammed their flying vehicle through the windows of the garage to get out immediately. So you're on the streets with this chase.
Okay, I'm gonna use my R1 to just get into our spinner, and I'm gonna try to go through the same gap that they just created, and try to gain speed on them.
So you are rolling your driving skill. Their action is blocking, which means they are attempting to get away from you. So you're gonna roll and they're gonna roll. Every success you get will reduce the range. Every success they get will increase the range.
Yeah, this is purely close and distance.
Great. So you got one, they got two, which means you are 2 ranges away from them now. Now, while this is happening, there are certain obstacles that show up because Los Angeles is densely packed and a pretty bad place to be at this point. So, we're gonna roll on the obstacle table and see what kind of problems show up. What happens here is while you guys are doing this, and you're chasing, and you've gotten closer now, a large holographic advertisement for Joy comes out and reaches their hand out like they do in 2049, obscuring the view of both drivers. So, you have to roll observation, and so does your target. If you fail, the range band increases for you, and if they fail, the range band decreases. So you roll first, as you're trying to navigate through a giant holographic advertisement of Joy.
Using my expert knowledge of Joy, I got this. Here we go.
Do you have a Joy?
Look at that.
Perfect.
I've seen schematics.
So 1-to-1, which means no crashes happen. You guys are able to maintain the same 2 range distance. Neither of you managed to crash. While you guys are chasing, are George and Lance gonna try and follow? You are a considerable distance away.
I am heading to the spinner.
Sorry, because I'm managing two screens, Kitsune has given a +2 again, which means there are now, I believe, just one of those floating around now? Or two?
I think there's two.
There's two of them floating around. If anyone wants to
give him
use.
one before.
So George,
Yes.
what are you doing?
George will hear the thing of in pursuit from Evie and say, "LT to the spinner, yeah."
Yeah, at this point, yeah, like I'm packing up whatever I can like disarm or disable on the EMP, the localized EMP zapper on the MRI, making sure that
Yeah.
it doesn't zap anybody.
Sure.
And then just making my way over to Stone and wherever we parked his spinner. And
Okay.
Oh, it's not
I'm
my
booking
spinner.
it.
This is not going to be my spinner. This is going to be your spinner because
Oh, that's right.
Echo took my spinner.
That's right. Yeah, it'd be mine. So I like we're running, and I toss you the keys this time.
Out of character, what's your driving?
It is a D.
I have a B. I have a C.
Yeah.
So I can
toss
drive.
You, I toss you the keys.
Yeah, it's like
Feel free to
thank
drive.
you.
This is,
We'll drive.
it's always a disadvantage, so just drive.
Yes.
2 + 2 is floating around.
Hey.
Great. You guys are managing to gain some headway,
Can I message,
but back to the main
can I message
chase.
Stone?
Oh yeah, sure. What are you messaging?
Yeah, I want to message Stone in the sense of I want to chase these the same way you chase deer into the hunters. You make a bunch of noise, you chase them in the sense of if you're going to pursue a prey, and you push them into the guys that are actually going to shoot them. And so I would like if we can kind of try to
Coordinate?
cut these guys off, and we'll push them into you.
Yeah, and I will message back and I will say, take Holland over Newport, drive them south, and we'll cut them off at 52nd and Broadway.
Okay.
I don't know how it's going to work with chase mechanics, but if I can do a
Oh, it will.
half move.
So what
Yay
happens
for
here
Rancid references.
is while you're chasing them, you want them to go to a particular path. So technically,
Yeah,
you'll be
as-
doing cutoff. Now, you
Yeah.
can be helped by Evie here, because Evie, the shotgun's not going to reach 2 range bands, but the assault rifle will.
The assault rifle. I was gonna say.
If you'd like to shoot to kind of herd them away, because you don't really have to hit them, you just need to shoot and make sure you don't hit any civilians.
Yeah.
So you can make a
fine.
shooting roll, and if you succeed, I will give Echo advantage on the drive because he's trying to herd them.
Okay. Would I add a modifier to any of these?
There are 2 + 2s if you like to take them. Otherwise, it's just shooting.
Oh, okay.
Firearm,
It's
sorry.
just shooting. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, I'm gonna push this.
Ooh, that's a stress.
I'll take the stress, but
Okay, you don't want to cancel it?
success as well.
Okay.
I'll take it.
Okay. You take out the assault rifle, and this is not what you were trained for, but you have to adapt, like any good Blade Runner. You start firing it, you hit the side of thicker walls, but you know that those walls can take the bullets from this thing, so no one inside is gonna get injured. When you start shooting, they start maneuvering to a certain direction, which Echo you can now use with your driving skill against theirs again.
Here we go, big money. Here we go, big money, big money. Did it not roll?
It did not roll, good
I
sir.
haven't seen it.
Go for it. Just click disadvantage. Oh no.
Push
If you
it.
push, you'll get under stress.
It didn't say I can push. There's no button for it.
Oh yeah, because it's not supposed to be, but just roll it again. And then you'll take a stress point manually. Or I'll put it in manually. Do you want to push?
Yeah, with a disadvantage, right?
Yeah. Just push it again. I will give you the stress manually.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So
I
it will
pushed
try.
through it.
So this is because you're no longer trying to really chase it, you're trying to herd it. This isn't going to reduce the range band anymore. It's just how far away are they going to be from Lance and George? Like how far are they from the path that you're supposed to get them? So with that success, you are getting this guy ever so much closer to the other two. But you are still in this aerial vehicle. And now... okay. You are in open air between large buildings, huge high-rise towers, which means for Lance and George, you have an advantage to pursuing, which is the role you have to do. It's a drive. But there's a disadvantage to hiding, which no one's really doing anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But it's open air.
Yeah.
So you guys now have to make the roll next because you're trying to chase after them.
So it's just a straight roll then.
Yep, just driving.
Good luck.
Oh wait, that's with advantage. Hold on. So you said it's with advantage, but it's not.
Oh, there's no
letting me
advantage. Like it's
roll
just a no. It's just a straight roll.
Okay.
There's no advantage.
I gotcha. I'm gonna push that.
If you're gonna push, you have to roll it again manually, and then I will
Yep,
just
I
deduct the
gotcha.
stress.
Hey,
Good.
there we go.
Okay.
Here we go.
So you guys are closing in. It's not gonna roll because it doesn't know you're chasing after it. It's rolling against Echo and Evie. So Echo and Evie, you're in open air. It's you can chase after it rather easily. What do you do?
I'm going to speed up to try to close the gap, but I'm going to hold steady. I'm going to try to ride as steady as possible so maybe she can get a shot off at something actually vulnerable besides just a pot shot.
Okay, so it's Evie you want to give the advantage to instead for the shot. So go ahead and roll drive.
So, because there was a +2 on the board, right?
2 of them, last I counted. Kitsune is asking to take the +2 for something.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the +2 for closing the gap and driving as steady as possible.
So what we'll do here is when you roll drive, when you click drive, click the plus button.
Yes.
And then add the die of your agility to it. So you have a B, so add a B to it. You got it?
Got it. And
Then just roll.
or disadvantage?
Just click roll because that is the advantage, the extra die. Wow.
It's good. It's good.
I will say that
It's
you
great.
heard him with that roll. You heard him even closer to Lance and George, and Evie gets an advantage on a shot.
Oh. Heck yeah.
Thank you, Kitsune from chat. That was I appreciate that. That's my friend from my cyberpunk game. I appreciate you coming out.
Tuna is giving you advantage,
Saving the
and
day.
you have herded this guy straight into. You're basically flanking him. You're just far away from each other right now. Ooh,
Push it.
push.
Oh, shit. I'll take.
Do you want
I'll
to
still
take the last +2 to remove the stress, or take it?
We don't want you
Yeah,
to
I'll
have
take
to-
it. I'll take it because I have my origami.
One hand is shooting, the other one's making a crane one-handed.
Like
Oh.
I can do my origami later. We're fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
So you take the gun.
It is stressful.
It's high stress, but at the very
Yeah.
least, Echo gives you the best, most stable platform. You fired a single shot, this time not hitting anything else but the car. You take out one of the wheels where it has a propulsion to lift it, so it's now flying unstable, which means it will now have an innate disadvantage. So, while you two are done with that, George and Lance, you see the vehicle that they have described and reported to you approaching where you guys are. How would you like to handle the slightly wonky vehicle that's no longer as aerodynamic as it should be?
Do we want to take a shot at it, or do we want to ram it into, like, to force it to land?
I mean, I can ram. I'm good at ramming.
What do you guys think? What?
Buckle
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, I mean,
It's your-
I'm taking.
it's
There's
your
one guy in the
car.
road.
It's
The
your
LAPD's car.
Ah,
It is the
yes.
LAPD's car, yeah.
That's
I mean,
true.
I'm taking
okay.
out PKD. PKD's out, looking over at kind of just holding on for dear life as I like to acknowledge to Stone that we have accepted my fate and we're gonna ram this thing.
Buckle
Drive.
up. Like they have like the harnesses and everything like that.
Yeah. So driving,
Yeah.
you're gonna try and
Yes.
attack it. It will try.
We have one more +1, correct?
You have
more
one
plus
left.
2? I'm gonna use it.
It will try.
Okay, so how do I do this?
So basically, when you click drive, there's a plus button on the pop-up. Add a die equal to your agility, which is a B. So add a B die,
Yes.
and then just roll normally. Click the normal roll, because that added die is your advantage.
Yes!
Oh my god. So
We'll beat him, cowboy.
let's see if he can avoid getting hit. His car is damaged, which removes thanks to Eevee, which removes his mobility considerably. He moves. He tries to get out of the way. Like it's a game of chicken. You're approaching, he's approaching. He moves out of the way, and you manage to do a tailspin and smash the back end of the car onto his roof. Like you turn around 180, turn around on your y-axis, and then smash the car like a wheel onto its roof, and forcing the car to crash land to the ground below. It just
Right before we hit the thing, I look and I say, as Mr. Black once said, skadoosh.
So you basically turn it on its side, move it standing up vertically, and then spin it around like a buzzsaw, smashing into its roof. The car lands on the ground violently. And you guys can land there, actually, pretty easily. On the crash
I
site.
look over to Stone.
Yeah.
I will message.
Can I make a quick?
Oh no, sorry, one
Go
thing. Lance, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was just gonna say I'd look at Stone saying, "Hey Stone, get it on the ground. We're gonna go in real quick."
radio the others. Have them relay it to the RDU.
Okay.
And I will bring us down, and then make sure my gun is all loaded and ready.
Echo and Eevee, you guys are landing as well? Because you basically flanked the guy.
Yeah, we're landing. But I'm gonna send.
I'll also
the
point
GP
out,
I'm gonna send the G.
map-wise, you're somewhere near the new City Hall building. So, you just crash landed down there.
Nice.
And you're
Nice
like a block
setup.
away from LAPD headquarters now.
We took him down
Hell yeah.
on the 50, on the corner of 52nd and Broadway,
So,
and none of them ever seemed to go my way.
it's down. You guys are here. You land. This is still your third shift. The guy in the spinner seems to be not leaving it. The spinner itself that you've crash landed does look like it's about to blow up. It's not going to cause any major damage to civilians. It's not that, it's not like a Michael Bay mushroom. It's just probably going to catch fire, and the fire department's going to get called. Civilians are already leaving it. They know what an exploding car looks like. But the guy is still inside. So while you have no threat to civilians, if you want him alive, someone's going to have to make the effort to pull him out of here, because he doesn't look like he's moving.
I'll do it.
I've got.
Yeah. Wow.
Force it.
All
Force
of us
it
are
is.
just so ready to get him.
Get in what?
And then we're all just so ready to just get
Yeah.
this guy.
Well,
Get
I
him-
have a
get
strength
him
of
in.
A.
I have a strength of B, but I'm the only non-human, so I figure I'm less important.
Not
You know,
even-
seeing,
At least in Evie's mind.
seeing Eevee going, immediately, just like I open up the spinner store, kind of like slam it PKD out, just following your lead, and then just basically shouting LAPD, get out of the vehicle now. that whole thing.
He's not leaving, which means
I'm calling.
back up.
I'm immediately just with my radio on the spinner, calling for in my whatever my unit. I'm calling for EMS services, fire services,
Right.
And I'm also sending them the GPS locations of where we took off from, so they can secure the van that we left behind with the body.
This will not cost you any promotion points. Again, it's an emergency. It's their job now. So you start calling. Lance is doing the LAPD thing, like put your hands up, get out of the vehicle. He's not complying, and because of the crashed window on the side, you can tell that he's unconscious. So Evie, you'll have to use force because the door of the car has been crushed.
Okay.
And it's not opening.
I will get out of the spinner, and I will basically, with PKD in hand, I will basically watch the two of their backs, and I will try and keep an eye out on the crowd and anywhere in the general vicinity for anything that might look suspicious.
Sure. Observation for George while you're monitoring the crowd.
Okay.
Because Lance has Evie's back on the direct suspect.
1 success.
Great.
The last time I let Evie out of my sight, she got shot. So hopefully not
Learning
this
from
time.
mistakes. You Evie, you see the door's been crushed, so you can't really pull it open. But you realize that, well, if you just crush it some more, it's gonna break anyway. Just take the top half of the door, just bend it downwards, and then now it just sort of breaks on its own through the hinges. The guy is bleeding on his head. He looks like he hit himself on the steering wheel, and the chair that he was sitting on has been dislodged a bit from the impact, and a bit of the roof has kind of on the top of his skull because of the impact from smashing him all the way down. But he is alive, and you can unbuckle, push his body forward, and drag him out.
Yeah. And I'll drag him a good distance away from the spinner so that if there is an explosion, that he'll be well out of the way of it.
Not a full explosion, but the spinner does catch fire. Like, it starts burning.
Yeah, okay.
This is where EMS and fire departments are going to come in. But you do have your suspect, which you may now, because your shift's about to end, send him to the LAPD. You're 2 blocks away. He is unconscious and needs medical attention. Nothing that you can do on the street right now because of the significance of his injuries. But he still can live when you get him to the LAPD. So, assuming all of you go there, to the headquarters, after all of this, for George, when you're looking around, there isn't anyone that you notice is acting in any particular way about this. You will, however, notice that there are there's one spinner in the air, a privately owned one, that hovered over for a bit before just deciding to leave.
Can I have clocked the plates on that?
You could probably take your KI and take a video, because you can't see it, but if you take a video, you can zoom it in later. So yeah, you'd have a record of it.
Sure.
But they did just leave casually through. They were hovering over there for a little bit. When you guys bring him to the LAPD headquarters, he will count as evidence, so everyone takes 1 promotion point. And this is where I ask, before your third shift ends, do you report everything that you found?
I mean, yeah, because I don't see any point why we shouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, a lot of the other evidence that you have isn't. Actually, no, it is evidence. You have the bombs, so that I'll give that worth as 2 promotion points because you have 20 samples of those bombs. That's another 2 on top of it, so you should have gained 3 by now, and then 1 more for the information that you found out, that Evie found out about, the general, what the blasting powder is, what you guys found out about the general make of the bomb and the predisposition of these people. So you should have had 4 promotion points to add at this point.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
Sweet.
he's being treated in the LAPD's med bay. It is the third shift, so is anyone gonna overtime and take the stress, or just chill out and wait till the morning?
I'm going to look to everyone as soon as we get back to the office. I'm like, guys, I know I just treated you all to a wonderful dinner out. Do you guys fancy some good home cooking? Because I could really go for a good meal right now. Hot, no alcohol, just hot, good, solid food. My sister's been dying to meet my team, and she has like 4 different recipes that she's been wanting to try out. I just hope you guys bring your appetites.
I don't think we ate
I'm
all
looking
day.
at you. Yeah.
You could have had like an on-the-go meal just to make sure you're functioning. That's about it.
Yeah, like a protein bar or something like that.
Yeah, I know.
kind of the concern for me. This guy here is a key suspect in this potential investigation, and if so, if you told me about the spinner that you saw hovering over,
I did.
kind of just waiting, like
Yeah.
in my mind, like bells are like there's some bells that are being rung, like this guy's being watched, so we're being watched. This guy's not dying on my watch, so I'm gonna take the overtime to keep a watch over this our key suspect.
You
Okay.
can
I'll make
actually,
sure
Being the new guy,
I'll make sure I bring you a couple plates of leftovers, boss.
for the record, you can actually spend the promotion point and get a full squad to look over him if you'd like to take the break anyway.
I don't trust anybody right now. Call it a little bit of paranoia.
Okay. So, you're gonna stay behind. I will have to ask you to take another stress, but here's a problem with this. Every shift you spend without sleeping, without taking downtime, you get 1 stress per shift. So the next shift, when everyone's back, you will gain another stress for that unless you use that as downtime. Which you can. You know, it's up to you.
One of my specialties too is smokes. So I get 1 point of stress back when I use the item. Is that per day on the item? I can't recall.
Per shift that you use them, once per shift. So if you want to
Once per shift. So
kill your lungs, hey, Brazil gave a +2. If you want to kill your lungs, staying awake, you know, you become
I'm
the
gonna keep my
next.
lungs staying awake.
Maybe you want to take Holden's job and become the next Iron Lung Chief. Oh, you know,
Apparently,
that's an
yeah.
option.
You know, I
Okay.
have heroes to aspire to.
Brazil's given a +2. Miserable Junkie's considering giving a -2 to Lance. But for now, you will not take any stress if you want to smoke while watching him. So that's for 1 shift.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah.
For the others, you're gonna take your downtime, yes?
Mhm.
Okay, so for taking the downtime, you can recover 1 health if you have injury, or 1 stress. Your choice. You
I
left
will
click
just
to
to
recover
confirm,
recover.
it's called roll 100.
Okay. So, let's take this over.
And
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna do
Yeah.
origami too. So
Perfect. 2 stress. While folding paper birds.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I don't think I have calm music for non-threatening music in this thing because Sirenscape is a bit off right now, so
Mhm.
everyone watching, just bear with me while I experiment on what kind of music we do have. Because they're all very ominous.
And
So-
that's all I compose sometimes.
While you guys are heading over to George's house,
Casa de Stone.
would George, would you mind explaining to them what it is they see when they start pulling up at the front?
Absolutely. So you guys are used to the usual cityscape and everything, right? You're used to the usual cityscape. There is, with the DM's permission, there is 1 section overlooking the city in what used to be the Hollywood Hills that is now a very ritzy, or not ritzy, but a very secluded residential area. It is one of the only places in the entire city that probably any of you have ever been to, that in portions of it, tiny little portions, they actually have grass. And we come down, and there is we come out into what basically is a gated. It's got a large brick wall, intricate brick wall that goes around the edge of it. It's not a huge house. It's only about the size of maybe like, I don't know, like a four bedroom, 2.5 bath. Very well made house. But it is still the modern like architecture and everything like that. It's not like Wayne Manor or anything like that. But we come in and we park, and DM, with your permission, I will have called my sister and said, hey, get a spread ready. You wanted to meet my team. We're coming in, and we're all hungry.
He's worked on it.
And you see as we come through the gate, that there are actually synth trees in here. There are lots of synth trees, lots of very nice foliage kind of blocking out the smog and everything like that. And as soon as we get out of the spinners, you actually breathe. And it's the first time, maybe not recently. It's because you were in the big place before, but you were in the restaurant before. This is even more fresh than that. Like it's weird how fresh it is. It almost kind of hurts when you breathe it in, because it's like pure oxygen. Kind of gives you a bit of a head rush. We walk up to the house, and I press the button, and there's a ding dong, and a not tall, but like a taller, about middle-aged man comes up, and he opens the door and he says, and go ahead, DM. And I kind of looked at him and say, yes, Jeremy, thank you very much for letting us in. Is my sister up in her suite?
Yes, Mrs. Stone, and your sister has prepared quite the meal for your guest.
Thank you.
Would there be any
appreciate it.
preferences for drinks besides regular water?
Regular iced tea with sweet tea for me, please.
Of course. And for the lady and gentleman? Looking at Echo and Evie.
An Arnold Palmer.
Very well. And for the lady?
I'll have what he's having, and I'll point to George.
Understood.
So sweet
then.
tea. Gotcha.
Everything shall be prepared within 5 minutes. Would you like to wait in the common room where your sister is?
Can we please have a chance to go in? Can we go and use the washroom to all basically clean up before we have dinner?
Yes, of course. The guest bath and washroom has been prepared on the right.
Yeah.
It will be served shortly.
Actually, is my room still good? We can.
Yes.
I'm sure that I want to, and we'll head up to my room, and you guys, we just go up the stairs in the front of the house, and down the hall to the right, second door on the right. There's a large kind of what essentially would be a front room over the garage type room. And inside of it there is some it's just a very sparsely, or not sparsely, but like not sparse, but it's very much the bedroom of a younger man. Like somebody who, and it's been almost kept as a time capsule, and it hasn't been changed. And you do see that in the closet there are in these locked or somewhat locked, or not locked, but what's the term I'm looking for? Well sealed, basically bags for clothes. There are some things, and it says there's one thing on there, and one that says dad's tuxedo, mom's favorite dress, all this different stuff. Uncle Johnny's shit kicker suit. And George will go in and say, Evie, if you want to go and get washed up, he'll go through the stuff, and he will hand you a bag of clothes and say, I think this is about the right size. And it's just, as soon as you open it, if you open it, it's just a very nice, very plain, very nice cotton dress with hose and everything like that.
Are you sure? I mean,
Yeah.
I can't take any of this. It's fine. I don't mind wearing my own clothes.
Okay, if you're sure.
One
He'll take
second.
it back and he'll put it back in the closet.
Evie,
Appreciate it though. Mm-hmm.
can I would like to ask you to roll your insight, please.
Okay.
So we're about to have some fun.
All the while this is going on, Echo, George is gonna throw you like a towel and all that stuff, and just basically giving you the option of some of his old clothes, because you're about the same size that he was at your age. And he'll give you the option of whatever you want to wear from his old stuff.
Evie,
Sure.
when you look at the
I'll
dress,
change, but
there is something familiar about it. You're not sure why, but you feel like you've seen it before. It's a weird back of the head feeling, like that looks weirdly familiar.
Okay. Yeah,
nice.
I think that's probably the reason why she is so. No, I can't take this. It's like a weird feeling.
Strange sensations. You don't really know how to explain it, but it's familiar. You remember it, but you don't. You're not sure. But it looks nice. Maybe something you'd like to wear. But it's just a weird feeling. You don't really get why. So you refuse. Echo wears his own clothes, and by the time you guys are being called for dinner, you're going to meet a young, sweet-looking girl in a wheelchair, electric one, who moves and very sweetly just smiles at all of you. Welcome. Are you all
Hey,
of
sis.
my brother's team? I prepared a great meal. I hope you came hungry. Hi.
Not
And
the
she just
entire team,
gives a hug.
sis, but yeah, give her a big hug and say, not the entire team, sis, but the boss man had some other stuff he had to finish up at the office, but this is Evie, one of my newest compatriots. Evie. This is Iphigenia Stone, or Iffy for short.
She takes your hand and shakes it. Wow, you're so pretty. She just looks up at you from the chair while shaking your hand.
Thank you. You're the one who bakes, right? I've tried a couple of your cakes and your eclairs.
Oh, what do you think about them?
Delicious. I've never had them before, but they were incredible.
I'm glad you think so. I have some more prepared. And then she looks to Echo. So you can see a plate full of it.
This is Echo Jones, my other new compatriot. Echo and Evie are both new on the team.
He takes your hand and goes for a shake. It's very nice to meet you.
I'll bend down, shake her hand, and I'll say, actually, me and your uncle live in the same building. And
no, brother.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Me and your brother actually live in the same building, and he's been a pretty good neighbor. He's been showing me the ropes at the department, and we're all very happy to have him here.
Well,
and
it's so nice to know that you won't be lonely there.
No. And taking a look at the wheelchair, I'm gonna say those are some nice wheels, though.
Well, hopefully they won't be needed for much longer, but we'll have to see then.
They take a pretty good care of you. Those are high quality.
GM, I have a question. Is all of the medical equipment still out and about in the suite, or has it been
No,
put away?
they would have cleaned it up. for guests. Like
Okay,
they're
good.
putting it away. Just her, the
Good.
chair. You have the table spread. She looked. Please, everyone, take your seat. I've made a spread for you. Food, desserts, everything. He looks at Evie. It's like there's more of players and a few of her pastries I haven't given me yet. You'd like to try some?
Definitely. I think she goes like kind of straight for the pastries.
So
George will lean into her and will lean into Evie and say, "You've got to try her German chocolate cake. Oh my god."
Okay, I definitely will. Which one is that?
It's the one with the gel, the brownish whitish gel on top. That's It's covered with coconut in it.
Okay. So
okay.
go for it.
So
go for the cake.
while you guys are eating and you go for the cake, Echo, since you're the third party here, technically, along with Evie, but for you specifically, Echo, could you roll your observation or your insight for me? Your choice.
Yeah, I'm gonna munch on a bear claw. I will grab a bear claw off the line of pastries.
Yeah,
or apple fritter.
And just simply put, the spread that she put out, because I requested it, is a traditional like family style Italian spread. Like chicken carbonara, rigatoni pasta, a spaghetti bolognese, like everything. Lots of carbs, lots of pork, lots of beef, lots of stuff. Even some
Would there
chicken
be
parm,
veal shank?
There would be, yes.
I had a great veal shank a few years ago. It was great. I'm
So-
gonna,
Echo?
There would be both chicken parm and veal parm.
let me roll this observation. So while I'm munching on this, I'm taking a look around, kind of listening to their conversations, and also very observant that Stone was actually successful. I thought the whole feeding Evie pastries was a lost cause.
Observation or
Observation.
insight? Your choice.
Choose.
I think your insight might be better because of your empathy, so.
Hey!
Great. Echo, if you pay attention to Discord, I am sending you a message privately. And you will do with that however
Ooh,
you see
secret
fit.
messages! Secret messages! Whispers,
Whatever you
whispers,
feel like.
whispers.
Doing with that information. Because it just comes up towards the, like, halfway through this dinner. It just weirdly comes up. And, it's kind of odd. And then you recall your last job. But again, that's a long leap. It's just, it feels odd. But, maybe it's more common than you think. Who knows? Because you don't really know how any of this really works.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say out loud. I'm gonna say, Stone. I had my doubts about feeding, about pushing those pastries on Evie, but I look over at Evie, but I see you're enjoying yourself. Welcome to the wonderful world of gastronomy.
Evie, would you like to learn how to bake yourself? I can teach you.
She's such a good baker. You need to learn. You need to learn. You can make everything for everyone else.
I mean, maybe it's just my kitchen is not. I don't even really think I have an oven. It's more of a hot plate.
Don't worry about it. Sis, you have no problem with her coming over here and you teaching her here, do you?
No, absolutely
I mean,
not.
that's too much.
No, really, it would be.
It's fine.
It would be so
Stone will
nice
lean-
to have someone to bake with. It's always better when someone else. And George is always busy with his.
Stone will
everything.
lean into you, Evie, and will say, it would be a personal favor to me if you would accept, because she is alone here with only doctors far too often, and I can't be around all the time.
Do we have any
Trust
servants
them.
here?
We do. Well, just a few.
Could we have one of them take a group picture?
Sure. I'm sure that
Jeremy can take it. He's just
that
waiting
Jeremy
by
can
for
take
orders.
it. Yeah.
Takes the photo.
Hey,
Yeah,
Jeremy.
I'll give him my
take it.
KIE unit and show him the little button to press on my camera and have him take a picture of all of us.
Everyone smile.
I will take my sister by the shoulder and just kind of lean into her with the other two kind of in, and I'm like, all right, everybody, say lasagna on 3, lasagna.
She clicks it. You have the photo, but she does look at you, Evie. Only if you feel like it. You're always welcome to come by, but it would be really nice to have someone to bake with whenever you're free.
Sure, yeah, if I have free time. I mean, the RDU does keep me rather busy.
She smiles. Wonderful, next time I'll teach you how to make the au pairs yourself.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
She smiles. And you've got the invite whenever you'd like, however you feel about it. Echo, the thing is sent you. It's starting to show a little more. I'm just not sure what to do with it.
Can I excuse myself to like go to the bathroom or something?
I don't see why not.
Yeah, I'm gonna excuse myself, go to the bathroom, and I'm gonna without being rude, I'm gonna try to see what I can see without going someplace I shouldn't be. See if there's anything unusual. See if anything stands out to me. Just wandering around. It's a beautiful house. It's an old house, and it looks interesting. But also at the same time, I'm curious because I've been to his apartment area. This is just not vibing with a little bit of. I just want to look around.
Without really needing to roll for this, what you don't find is an indication of how
Anything
they
off.
afforded this. Because a Blade Runner, and you would know this, does not get paid this much. Or
Yeah, that's
paid that much in general. But you don't find any indications of where this comes from necessarily. Maybe it's inherited. Your best guess. But you know, if you
during the
were
first meet-
yeah.
During the first meal, I was trying to justify eating the meat, and I was talking about all the reasons ethically, you know, out above the table in this world. It's not usually something that everybody indulges in, and now I keep pushing myself, and it's kind of making me unusual about being a new guy. And on the force, I know what we're getting paid, and I just want to know a little bit more about the family, so I'm going to go back to the table, and I'm going to sit down and just gesture around while drinking my coffee as the meal's ending and everything like that.
As the meal is ending, and I'm sure that my sister, I will look to my sister and say, "Hey, sis, why don't you take Evie and show her some of your cookbooks, okay? Evie, would you mind keeping my sister company for a little bit? I think Echo and I got some stuff to talk about, because he's just clocked that you were gone way too long from going to the bathroom."
Yeah, I was
He
taking my
smiles.
time.
And
Evie, you're brought to the side, shown a bunch of cookbooks and how to work an oven. The two of you are.
So as I gesture with my coffee, I'm just going to say real quick as I see, I'm going to kind of open it up to the idea that you did open up the room for us to talk.
We'll head down into the downstairs into like 2 or 3 rooms over to the
Sure.
lounge, where there is a small box of old, like not old but reasonably old cigars and an antique lighter, and you
Sure.
say, "Ask you questions. I knew it was going to come up as soon as I brought you here."
Yeah, I'm going to, as I puff on the cigar, just get it all nice and lit, I'm going to say, it's a little much.
What do you?
The house, the big meal yesterday. What is all this? Are you a Blade Runner for fun? A lot of us are struggling. What's going on?
Can I request that he roll something?
Yeah.
If it's to read, what is it? To read your expression?
It not just that, but also to try and tap into Stone's basically prove to Stone that he can trust him. I would ask that he roll an empathy, just straight empathy.
Straight empathy would be fine with me.
Go ahead. That also
It's not letting
depends
me
if you
click.
think you can be trusted. Oh, because I don't think just empathy. Yeah, you click disadvantage because you're only rolling one die if it's just empathy. That's something you're willing to push?
Do you really want to know?
Do I have?
We do have a +2. We do have a +2.
I do
Just
have a
one floating around.
+2, and
Is it important to you?
I think I
We
might as
should
well
see.
use it because the chat wants to know too, probably. So
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this.
So I just roll again?
Yeah, just roll again.
with the plus.
No, just
click +2
no,
with
just
the key?
roll. Just roll again, because we'll treat it like a second roll.
There we go. Yeah, look at that.
Well, before
So-
anything else, this depends on Echo now. Like, based on you as a Blade Runner, as LAPD, as everything, what is it that... What is the limit of what you can be trusted with when it comes to personal information? Like, as your character, what is the limit your character can be trusted with sensitive information?
I'm going to say my character's state of mind right now is very close, and I think I brought this up with Stone at the beginning of our conversations of like 0 session day, kind of.
Yeah.
I feel like the character at the beginning of training day, in the sense of I was willing to do everything by the book, straight out of the academy. But also I know things are going to be on the take. I know there's going to be some corruption. I know that there's going to be things that we're going to do. But also, I think we're still doing things for the greater good. But the moment I see Stone, showing me that he's got bodies in the basement sliced up and that's what he's been feeding us, I'm going to not accept that, obviously.
No. So he will look and he'll be like, okay. He'll hand you a cigar, pour you a brandy, from an old decanter, kind of swirl it around and sniff it a little bit and say, "Don't sip just yet. Just remind the aroma." And after doing this for a little bit and lighting up your cigar, he'll sit down in a very old and weathered, high back chair, and he will sit. And he will tell you how basic. And I don't feel. I guess I could roleplay it. So he'll kind of look to you and he'll say, "My sister's sick. As you can probably tell, she's been sick since we were kids. Our parents, that I'm aware of, worked for Tyrell on a contracting basis. When Tyrell went under was around the time when my sister got sick. Our parents were also killed in a car accident. Wallace approached us and they offered us the chance to give my sister the top of the range medical treatments if we agreed to continue somewhat supplementing their research, and in turn they would give her the best medical treatment she could have, and perhaps even make it so she could be active again one day. The other tag on to that was that I had to basically agree I had to go into the academy and become a Blade Runner. They wanted somebody on the inside. So you ask, how is this possible? That's how it's possible. I am a tool of Wallace after a fashion. Simply because my family, the only blood family I have left, relies on me. So I hope you understand that by... one second. I see he kind of looks and he says, I hope you understand that by me confiding in you with this information, I do trust you. Please do not lose that trust.
So what's all this?
This was
I'm gonna
our
gesture around the house. I'm gonna say, is this all?
this was our parents' place. This was our family
So this
home.
is. So you had money before you were a Blade Runner. It's not.
Yes.
This isn't from. This isn't from Take.
No, I am from money. Yes.
Can I? You know. So all you're doing is providing them information about the cases we're doing, sending them our reports or something?
Not so much. I'm more of, I guess, what you could call a not a sleeper agent. I know that I might be called in at some point, but until I'm tapped, I get to basically live my life as it is, do my job as it is.
Would you let me know if that call ever came?
If I was allowed to, yes. Absolutely.
All right. I'm gonna just take a puff on my cigar and say,
It tastes like vanilla. It tastes like vanilla and oak.
well, don't let it affect the case, and don't let any of this come down on any of. We're working hard here, and we've sacrificed a lot for this team, and
I know.
whatever it's gonna happen with this, as long as it doesn't affect all of us, or I see you cross certain lines, then you're on the other side of the line.
I understand. In the
All
meantime,
right, I'll give you a cheer with the.
Yep, and I will cheers your glass back, and I will say, in the meantime, you are always welcome here. The boss already knows that he's welcome. The LT already knows that he's welcome here, but he very rarely comes over. But actually, I don't think he's ever been here. But yeah, no. Like Evie, you're also welcome here. So finish your cigar, finish your brandy, and let's head back up here in just a moment to kind of keep the ladies company for a little bit longer. I imagine my sister's about to probably need to go down for the night, but yeah.
Lieutenant Rogers, before I get back to this lovely meeting, you are watching over this replicant. It is a replicant. You're watching over the replicant suspect. They haven't identified, or sorry, they've been identifying the serial number. It is a confirmed Nexus 8. This is a war veteran and combat medic from the war in Calantha, the off-world planet. Before being called to serve in the military when the Nexus 8s were still, kind of like how the Nexus 9s are now, he is a trained surgeon. So this man fits the skill, but according to his profile, he doesn't have the expertise necessary for cybernetic implants, nor does he have the demolitions expertise for this. So he doesn't fit the entire profile. However, the dead body earlier that I assume you guys turned in after all this mess was done, which, by the way, one more promotion point for everyone for the dead replicant in the van. Should be 5 total now that you've gained. The dead body earlier was in fact a demolitions expert and also a field medic. If you put both their skills together, you'd be able to pull off what was done. The problem is you don't know how they got the materials necessary. But you have these two who have those expertise combined.
Evie.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Unfortunately, there's going to be two. Will this be 2 sets of videos, or is it going to be different? Hey!
It should be 2 videos.
It
Yeah,
worked.
would be 2.
Again. Okay, so I don't know where it got cut off, but back to what I was trying to say. Oh, Kitsune's still here, that's nice. So people are still back. What I was trying to say is that you have this information, the two of them, you don't know who's supplying necessarily the funds to power all of this, but you do have some information now. On the other hand, with everything that's happened, what is it that you'd like to do with this?
You know, I think we might be able to hold it till the next one, because we're at almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
Unless you guys want to keep going.
Well, no, there's one other thing. We can hold that off, but we can close this off properly with something. I need, and this is when you guys are about to head home for the other team. As you're leaving, I would like, George's sister is going to say when she's about to sleep, like, she looks at Evie, having enjoyed the time with you and the baking lessons, and say, "Would you like to come up and see my room for a bit?"
Okay.
And she asks you to accompany her to that room. When she does, or when you, assuming you do, since you agree to it, you, is people still having issues? Oh, okay. So you go up with her room, and when you get there and it opens up, I'm not even going to make you roll for it. Weird deja vu feeling. Like, for some reason, you knew that little figurine was going to be there. You knew that dresser was going to be there. You knew that that thing hanging over her bed was going to be there. That this curtains that cover it was there. You knew that medical equipment on the side was going to be there. Like, it's strange. You just knew what's in the room was going to be there. Will you do anything about it?
I think because we technically, like, would I have already gotten my resolve back?
Yes, at this point.
During
like
this?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not still stressed out. I still think I feel like Evie gets like lightheaded in this moment and is like just shocked and can't even really articulate anything, and just as well as she can possibly say, she says, I'm sorry, I think I'm not feeling very well. I think I should go, and just like runs out of the room.
Evie leaves the room in distress. Lance, you are bombarded with some information that you don't know quite how to use just yet, while George and Echo have to watch as Evie leaves abruptly, seemingly with some distress in her voice.
I don't even think I really I say goodbye, but it's very rushed.
Right.
And I leave the house entirely.
So, assuming you took your own spinner here, I'm assuming you're just gonna take that home and not talk to anyone.
Yeah.
And on that note, with everyone splitting off, we will have to stop our stream there. And we were gone for a bit because of some weird stream issues. But essentially, for those of you who missed it, Evie found George's sister's room and seemed to already know where things would be and already knew what she would see, and confirmed those suspicions as she looked in that room. And it has distressed her enough that that cold replicant Blade Runner persona has caused her to run out and abandon all caution as she leaves and heads for the night. So, that was our stream. So sorry for some of the minor technical issues. Not sure what happened there. But thank you for sticking with us. Catch us again next week. Oh, I don't record. Rob uses this.
I see.
Okay. We should be back. So sorry about that. So go ahead, Echo. I think we're back. Are we back? Is it live?
Yep, I'm just on. This is Echo. I'm just on Discord in this Cybernation Uncensored. If you get in there, message me. We're always there.
And we're back.
I'll see you next week.
Good. And Shockman? Well, it's still working.
Hey guys, I'm Michael Shockman. You can find me on over here on Twitch at DM Shockman. You can also find me on YouTube, both at Michael Shockman as well as at the DM Shockman Institute. And you can also follow me over on Twitter at D capital D lowercase m capital S lowercase HOCKMAN. And follow me on there. I don't post on there very often, but you can find me on there sometimes. And yeah, that's where you can find me. Thank you guys so much for a wonderful session. This was a lot of fun, and I look forward to next week.
George Lee, what's up?
Hi, I'm George Lee. You can find me on Twitch. I just started my Vampire the Masquerade's Bloodline first playthrough this week, so we're going to keep playing that. You can also find me on YouTube as well at George Lee, and same with my new Instagram as well, where I'll be posting reels and highlights and updates on the show as well.
And Nolan.
Hey guys, I'm Nolan North. I played Lance Rogers. Besides that, you can find me in the Discord here as one of the community members, CNU. There is a casting call out here for Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland. This is one of the books we kind of can't really see on the stream, but oh well, it's out there. I know it's in the other chat for TTRPGs in the CNU if you want to get a better look at that book. But it's open. Take a look if you like that kind of stuff.
Right. So join us over on the Discord, which we'll put in chat. Try to go for the casting call, and all of us will see you again next week. Bye, guys, and thanks for watching.
Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Cybernation Uncensored.